Keeler Show today.
Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 Show.
Okay, Davey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Another rough one for the Yankees, another rough one for the Mets.
I didn't watch any baseball again last night. I fell asleep.
I get it. I am completely with you. And it's either we figure this all out or we're going to be in big trouble. Both Mets and Yankees, right? We have a lot to get to, a whole bunch here this morning. I believe Beth Irons is in this morning. You seem indecisive on this, Davey.
Because usually if there's a problem, she usually emails me, and I didn't get any email or anything from her.
So Ryan Schmelz will speak with him in a few minutes. Minority Leader Schumer and Jeffries demanding a Big Four meeting. We'll see if that ever happens, comes to fruition. Mighty John, the record guy, there is a record out there that's worth $10,000, and it's possible, and especially if you are a movie lover or an Elvis lover, it is possible that you could have it and think it's worth nothing and not even know what it is, but it could be worth $10,000, and I'll explain, because the word Elvis is nowhere to be found on it. And I know you're a big Elvis fan.
So it's an Elvis movie?
That's all. The only hint I'll give you is it comes from an Elvis movie. That is true.
Oh, okay.
But Elvis's name is not. It's Elvis singing, but Elvis's name is not on the record. So we'll get into it with Mighty John, the record guy, this morning. Also, attorney Jeremy Rosenthal. We have a lot to get into, including there is and we're going to speak to this attorney. Her name is Megan Thomas. And I know she does work here as well as in the Syracuse area. She is trying to run an ad at Hancock Airport, and everything was looking good. Like it's $700 a month to run the ad, and it's about sexual harassment. And she was just about to place the ad, like a sign, like a little billboard up on the wall. And the people that are in charge of Hancock said, no, this is going to be offensive to our mail flyers, so you can't use I can't wait to bring this up to Beth. You can't use this ad. It's offensive to men. So this is crazy, and we'll get into it a little bit coming up, and I'll talk to Beth about it as well here this morning. Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal on our weekly legal segment. We take three legal stories with Jeremy, and away we go. Also, I believe today is the day that the court appearance occurs in regards to the Caitlin Conley case, where the district attorney is going to be asking that Judge Romano be removed from Judge Clark be removed from the case.
Right, today's the day.
So I think this is going to be a very interesting one. Yesterday we had Wolfspeed on, and to give us more on this, and I got into it yesterday with a few people here on YouTube, complaining that we weren't tough enough. I just think that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And to be honest with you, I'm going to say this. Beth, good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm
comments that were made yesterday on YouTube. Not only are they stupid, but it makes the people making the comment. I'm going to be flat and honest here. Why screw around? It makes you, if you make a comment like this, it makes you look stupid. I'm afraid. And I'll get into that coming up in a little bit. So we'll talk about those items with Jeremy Rosenthal. But Shauna Papali, how do we say her?
Shauna Papal.
Shauna Papal is with Mohawk Valley Edge, and she spoke yesterday a little bit on the big question has been, does Wolfspeed owe a lot of money to the Utica Water Authority? And it has been confirmed that that is not the case. Everything is paid up. But Wolfspeed is taking this as a way of reorganizing and investing. We'll see where it goes. But you take them for their word, and then if later you find out, well, they weren't quite honest, and I don't have any reason to believe they weren't honest with us yesterday. Of course they want this to work, just like we all should want it to work. That's when you have something on record and you can go back to it. But I can't even get into the stupidity that came yesterday from YouTube, but we'll get into it. I can't get into it now, though. I just can't. We'll speak with Megan Thomas, Syracuse area attorney. She's the one out there at Hancock. I want to talk to Beth about that as well. And Ryan Nobles is coming up from NBC. And Beth, good morning.
Good morning. My apologies for being a little late.
Listen, there's, well, guess we're going to have to dock your pay. We'll have
that means I owe you, right?
Yeah, I think so. Wow. So I want to talk just a little bit about this story out of Hancock. Her name is Megan Thomas. She's an attorney, and she's running an ad on sexual harassment. And it was determined that the ad was a bit offensive, would be offensive, and would offend people who are male who are flying. Okay, so I want to get into it. Her whole thing, her whole advertising campaign is attracting women who feel maybe in the workplace that they have been discriminated against, or maybe they have been sexually harassed. What she basically is saying, what was thought to be just a little joke is actually Exhibit A for us. When your boss told that little joke and said it's nothing, for us, it's Exhibit A in a sexual harassment lawsuit. So then the airport came out and said, this could be offensive to men, so you can't run it. How do you feel as a woman about that?
Was this an ad she was running with an attempt to increase her customer base?
Correct.
Okay.
This is. She's told she has to soften the ad because the language. And here's what it says: when HR called it harmless flirting, we called it Exhibit A, and they're saying that is offensive.
Well,
to men.
my first reaction is that's not a new reaction to that type of presentation. And my second reaction is, if you're looking to push an advertisement at a certain location, that location has the ability to accept it or not.
They do, and whether in terms of
on whatever basis they feel justifies it.
Yes, in terms of legal. Although I don't know if the airport is publicly owned. If it is publicly owned, that changes things.
If it is public, it's probably
if it's private,
at least partially supported by public dollars.
I believe it is, which does, I think, and we'll talk to Jeremy on this.
I mean, didn't the governor just announce a huge millions of dollars to airports across the state of New York to do whatever?
There's no doubt that public money has come in. Here's the other part of this. What she says, Megan Thomas. I've not spoken to her, but we emailed back and forth yesterday. But what she's saying, this is in the story at Syracuse.com. What she's saying is, this is offensive. And when HR called it harmless flirting, we called it Exhibit A. For sexual harassment, call this attorney. She said that's considered offensive. Yet there are other ads, billboards at Hancock Airport, for instance, for doctors for breast augmentation. And there's pictures up there as part of the ads talking about women enlarging their breasts and having the surgery done. She said that's okay, but this isn't okay. I think this is going to be a very tricky one.
Yeah, this is kind of a splitting hairs kind of thing. And again, the ultimate decision is up to who owns the property that the ad's going to be placed on.
I believe that's the case. But again, back to public funding,
right.
And that could change everything there. But we'll talk to her later on this morning and Jeremy Rosenthal about it as well. We're back to more smoke. Today, you can really see it out there today. You can
yesterday
smell
a little worse, but definitely still there today.
You can feel it, although we may get a little bit of relief as we're dealing with some rain, some thunderstorms, and
it's not raining yet, but it's in the air.
And then Beth, what do you today? You obviously you're smack dab in the middle of your public market.
Yeah, we're at the we're still I think in the middle of the summer harvest season. So come on down. If you're everything you expect to find at a farmer's market is what you're going to find at your local farmer's market now, and it is starting Monday this week, National Farmers Market Week. So please, if you haven't traveled out and journeyed to explore your local farmers market, you can always come down to the train station on Saturday mornings from 9 to 1 for the Oneida County Public Market. But there's a farmers market almost every day of the week in Oneida County.
Yeah.
And there's there's markets all over the place. Yeah. So go out just walk through the farmers market, get the experience. You're going to see familiar faces, and I think you might be surprised the familiar faces that you do see, and invest your food dollars right in your own community.
I have to say, in our travels, you keep hearing this, the food just seems to be better in Europe. Well, is that really true?
I was going to say, you just came back.
We came back from
You must have had some wonderful
and there are
culinary
markets everywhere. And the one thing that they really do, and they have longer seasons than we do.
Yeah,
especially
they don't have winter
in the
much.
areas where we were. But they cook and they create foods. Things are on the menu based on season.
Yep.
Based on when those products are available, and people don't. It's almost like the old days here, where people would go to the market every other day.
Exactly.
Today we go once a week, and you're buying a lot of stuff that's non-perishable.
Well, today we have refrigerators and freezers that help us keep the food healthy.
But also a lot of processed stuff. So is it better there? I don't know.
Define. Everyone has their definition of better. Is better for one person might be I
that is
pull
true.
it out of the freezer and pop it in the microwave, and 5 minutes later I have a hot meal.
I want to talk, Davey, also about this morning. And I know you go to these games quite often, Syracuse Mets.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're changing the name. And I know there was a sale. The Syracuse baseball team is now owned by another company from a couple of years ago. But why would they want to? Why do you think they want to change the name? They're going to be the Mets until at least 2030.
Yeah, they'll be affiliated with the Mets, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't.
So as a Mets fan, I hate the thought that they are changing the name, because it's going to be a stupid name.
So you think it's like a change of business ownership kind of thing?
Well, maybe because the owners because the ownership changed a few years ago, they may have a different philosophy than the original organization that brought the Mets here. But I just think I'm going to submit a new name, because that's what they're asking for the public to do, and it's going to be the Mets. I'm going to submit the Mets. Keep it the Mets.
I'm not a big baseball
maybe
fan.
They're thinking that because if you're not a Mets fan, you won't want to go to the games. I think that's ridiculous.
They draw very well.
They do draw well. I don't know why they're changing it.
They're a pro team. They would a pro team, and they would draw. You would think.
Well, they're an affiliate of the New York Mets, so having it stay the Mets, I would think. But it's going to be something stupid like the Mud Buckets or the Salt Potatoes.
It probably will be the Salt Potatoes.
The Salt Potatoes, which would be a stupid name.
It's going to be something with Syracuse.
Something.
That's the Salt City. So,
something regional.
Yeah.
To Syracuse. I don't like it. I'm just saying I don't like it. I will make my submission. It'll be the Mets.
I reached out to Michael, who's the play-by-play announcer and PR guy.
We'll talk to him. Yeah.
To get his response.
Hold tight. We'll do an update on the news and the weather and the smog and the smoke and all of that joy and happiness.
Speaking of the smog, I went to a very rare collector's thing yesterday. They did a signing in Johnstown.
Okay, stand by. I want to talk about that on the other side with you, Davey. Hold on. At WIBX, it is 6:33.
Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting the work done. You know this business can be backbreaking. All the more reason to partner with someone who has your back, like Clinton Tractor and Ferris Commercial Mowers. Ferris is about helping you finish strong and feel good doing it, with patented suspension technology that allows you to mow faster and get more work done in comfort so you can feel good tomorrow. Visit Clinton Tractor today or at clintontractor.net. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Thunderstorms possible today with highs back up into the mid-80s, but the big weather story is smoke and smog from the Canadian wildfires continuing to linger in the area. Most likely, it'll linger for the next several days, according to weather officials. Currently, the primary pollutant index is over 100 in the region, with warnings of unhealthy air quality, especially for people with heart and lung disease, older adults, as well as children and teens. The DEC says people at risk should limit their outdoor time. The North Shore Golf Club in Vienna is reporting that an unknown driver drove an ATV over the greens, causing thousands of dollars in damages. Two of the course's greens on the 9-hole course were torn up by tire tracks, according to reports. The United County Sheriff's Department is investigating. It's estimated over $20,000 in damage was done to the course. The owners of Tops and Price Chopper Market 32 are exploring the sale of their grocery stores, according to a report in Reuters. The news service says Northeast Grocery, owners of Tops and Price Chopper, are exploring a sale to other chains and to equity firms. Price Chopper and Tops merged into Northeast Grocery in 2021. In total, they own more than 300 grocery stores, including several here in the Mohawk Valley. Oneida Shores Beach in Onondaga County and parts of Oneida County closed. The Onondaga County Health Department shut down the beach due to high levels of E. coli. The beach's recent tests came back higher than the state standard for E. coli. The beach will stay closed until further notice. That's the latest. I'm Doug Callan from WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
More unhealthy air around, but hopefully a little bit of relief coming with some isolated showers, thunder showers that will become widely scattered into the afternoon hours. 85. Tonight, showers, thunderstorms around. Still some areas of smoke. Lows will be in the low 60s. North Country in the 50s. Some showers, thunder showers again tomorrow, partly sunny, and still some smoke, 83. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejek, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Well, we have some clouds and some smog. Always nice to talk. I just don't ever remember any time that this has been an issue where we've been talking about.
No, I figured we were close enough to the Adirondacks.
Smog.
Yeah.
You know, the beauty of up here is clean water, clean air.
Lots of trees.
Here we are. Currently, clouds and 63 degrees. Davey has a little, what he found is going to blow your mind. We'll do it. We'll do it. Listen, let me do my freaking tease. Keep your mic off. We'll get to that coming up. Don't blow my cover, man. What the hell are you doing? It is 6:36 at WIBX.
I'm Dr. Andrew Rosansky. When I joined Dr. Schulman 11 years ago, I joined the team and added my name to the business, and I have kept the tradition of the best family dentistry. Today, I am continuing the quality service people have come to expect with a name change, Rosansky Family Dentistry. We are accepting new patients. I'm looking forward to seeing you and your family.
Rosansky Family Dentistry, the same quality service with a new name. 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
Ugh, honey, what is this?
Well, you said you wanted a cocktail, but all of our bottles were pretty low. So I just mixed them all together with ice in the shaker, and voila! I call it the Desperado. What do you think?
Well, you nailed the name. It tastes like desperation in a glass.
No good?
Oh, honey, we need Breamers. Fast.
I really don't want to run out right now.
You don't have to. Anyone can get Breamers delivered right away with DoorDash or Instacart.
Even just one bottle?
Yep, but we live close enough and we want to stock up, so we can order direct at BreamersWineandLiquor.com. Ooh, we can get free delivery with our first order on their mobile app.
So many delivery options. Talk about convenience, huh?
Bremer's Wine and Liquor, Commercial Drive, New Hartford. Delivering the biggest selection, the lowest prices, and the ultimate in convenience.
Okay, try this.
Now that's more like it. What do you call this one?
The Bremer's Breeze, because delivery from Bremer's makes it
a breeze.
Yeah.
Nailed the name again.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TIRE for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TIRE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TIRE.
Hey, River Hills Properties is and continues to be the big growing real estate agency in the region and in upstate New York throughout all of here and into the Adirondacks. River Hills, and it's all about service. There's the book, 40 to 100 pages, filled with everything there is to know about the home. This is something you don't get with other real estate agents and other real estate agencies. It's 40 to 100 pages bound, and it's like the manual for the home. And if you do buy the house, it will be your like owner's manual because everything is there. They never use the lockbox. They're always there each and every time the house is shown because you need that representation. And trust me, we used River Hills. It is awesome to have someone there at your home when people are going through it. That's the River Hills way. It's all about service from the very beginning till the end. They have offices in Barneveld, Little Falls, Copenhagen, and Utica, Newport, and coming to Rome as well. And if you're thinking about becoming one of those snowbirds, Sarasota, Florida, in the amazing Gulf Coast side of Florida. It's River Hills Properties, LLC.com, River Hills Properties, LLC.com, or call them at 315-896-1009. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
So, Beth Irons in studio here this morning. That's odd. That just happened. Not you, Beth. I
was going to say, wait a minute. I showered.
I thought I'm still kind of catching up on some things, some stories that were happening while I was away, and it ends up. It's kind of one of the things that happens when you do go away. I know you stay connected, and it's very easy to stay connected today. But things happen. Like in a nearby county, they found in a garage a timber rattlesnake.
Yeah. Yep.
That is, and we've heard. You hear it all the time. There are rattlesnakes here that are native. There are
There's
three different
species.
types.
Yep.
I know there's a copperhead,
a
timber rattlesnake,
timber rattler, and an eastern Massasauga.
Okay. And is there another rattle or just 3 poisonous snakes?
Those are 3
of the poisonous
native New York venomous snakes.
Yeah.
Yes. And most of them are usually found, well up into the Adirondacks. But there's always that adventurous one who wants to go exploring.
So in a nearby county, I had the story up, and then all of a sudden it disappeared on me because this goes back to August 1st. Here it is. KTV ran this story. In a nearby county in Hancock, New York, a homeowner discovered a rattlesnake in their garage, and it was stuck in netting.
Yep.
What would you do?
What would I do personally?
Yeah.
I would. Well, my first instinct
would be to kill
excuse
it.
me.
You'd have to
no,
kill it.
absolutely not.
Oh, no.
Absolutely
no.
not.
Right, I forgot. We're coming from the zoo.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
you and I have
Sorry.
met, right?
Yes, that's true. I would tell you the first thing I would do is what my wife told me to do. And that would be she would be like, you must kill that. And then you're wondering, are there eggs around your property? Does this thing laid eggs? How did it get there? How many more are there? These are all things that are going to be in your dreams at night. Not yours, but my wife's. I can guarantee it. Go ahead. What would you do?
But, I mean, I would probably try to contain it. Find an empty garbage can or a 5-gallon bucket, cut the netting.
You have to be careful. It's a rattlesnake.
I know. But cut the netting so you could get it out of where it was. And the snake itself may still be in the netting.
You are a brave woman.
But contain it, so it's
doesn't
safe.
get away.
And then, probably call Judy Cussworth over at the Wildlife Center or her rehab center.
You'd have to call somebody. They would know what they're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you have to, or call the zoo.
Yeah.
Call the zoo. I don't know.
Would the zoo be able to
I don't
react
know.
to that?
And I don't know if they would, if they still have, venomous reptiles up there where they would have someone familiar with the process.
First thing I would do is what I always do if there's ever anything going on, I would call 911. I would just hit. Because there's someone there that's going to be able to figure it out. Now, I think a cop would come and
or probably a DEC and an econ
and maybe
officer.
reach out to DEC.
Yeah. Which I think is what happened in this situation. They called
DEC.
DEC. I just commend their first reaction to let's call somebody. Not like let's grab a shovel.
Let's try to kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The officer, this is in the KTV story, carefully removed the snake, freed it from the mesh, and released it unharmed back into the wild away from the house. According to the DEC, this is what they have stated. And we've had them on talking about this before. In fact, we had, and maybe we'll do this again, if you remember, Davey, were you here when we brought in the rattlesnake wrangler? He brought 12 rattlesnakes in a barrel and brought them here into the studio and let them out. And that was something. I was right over there on the countertop.
I was going to say, what were you standing on?
Timber rattlesnakes are venomous pit vipers native to New York State. These snakes are generally found in small, localized areas and are considered a threatened species protected they are protected by state law.
Yeah.
Timber rattlesnakes seldom display aggression unless in defense. What you don't want to do is come walking along a path. I saw this on Lassie and come across and startle the snake. You don't want to do that.
It's usually a good idea when you're walking through the woods to make some noise. And I don't mean like walk along with a snare drum. Just talk.
Make some
noise.
noise.
Play a radio. Sing.
Well, and if they bite you, you know what you got to do. You got to cut the wound and suck out the venom.
Just like on Bonanza.
They say you don't do that.
No, you don't have to.
But I swear.
Well, it depends on the species, too.
Paw on Little House did exactly that.
Yep.
So
first is don't panic. They don't want to be involved with you any more than you want to be involved with them.
It'll kill you. It can kill you. So you really need to reach out to, if you're bitten, I don't think you're going to be bitten anytime soon by a rattlesnake. However, if you are, you gotta. There's stuff they can
protocols.
do.
Yeah,
there are things they can do for you.
Don't get excited because that just increases your circulation.
You don't want that.
Which is the hardest thing to do.
And don't cut it and suck it out, because now you've sucked the venom right into your mouth. Now you have 2 people that are dying. That is true. I swear it's true. I looked it up. Timber rattlesnakes seldom display aggression unless in defense. The public is reminded to leave snakes alone, observe them from a safe distance, and call ECOs if they need a snake removed, according to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. So there you go. I thought this was kind of you hear it all the time. They say there are rattlesnakes.
There are.
There really are.
It's kind of unusual for them to be this far out of the mountain range, but it's possible.
And it's rare, right? I do worry about things like coming across, maybe you're walking in your backyard or you're taking a walk and you come across a fox, or you're not going to have a problem with that unless there are babies around, or if the fox is rabid. Or the other issue is a bear. There are bear sightings around here.
And they're common. Bear sightings are common now.
They are more common than I think we've had in a long, long time.
And I'm a firm, I'm an environmentalist at heart, and my attitude isn't they're invading our space. We've been invading theirs for decades.
Yes.
And they're adapting.
You can have that attitude all you want, but we won the war. We're here. But you're right. They are, and I don't know why they're making their way further down here, but probably
they're
hungry.
Adapting. And we are, we create easy food sources. We don't always put garbage in garbage cans, and we don't always clean up after ourselves. And the path of least resistance. That's how they survive sometimes.
I think too. You have a little get together and you leave things out. That's another.
You don't clean the grill and all that.
Listen to this. Now this is not in New York State, but it is in Georgia. A Georgia man ended up in the ER for a rabies shot after he was scratched by a bat at a home goods store. Is Home Goods the one that's like the we have it here, right?
Yes.
It's the big one, like the warehouse?
Over by where Kmart was. Yeah.
Yeah. So big, cavernous.
Sure. Open ceilings.
Yep. There was a bat in there, and the bat came by and scratched as it was flying by, scratched the man, which meant he had to get the series, which is not easy, the series of rabies shots. He was picking an item off the shelf, and that's when he came in contact with the bat. Here he is talking about the encounter at Home Goods. Here we go. Yes, of course it's not going to play. Now, I want to stress the fact, very important, this is not something that happened at our local Home Goods store. However, it did happen at a Home Goods. I'm stalling as I'm trying to get this thing to work properly. It did happen at a Home Goods.
Could be the difference.
Yep, I got it working. In Georgia. Here's the audio.
Well, I'm currently in the ER. Yo, all I just went to go pick up a mug just to be funny. It's a literal bat, bro. I just got scratched by that.
It's a literal bat, bro. This is new language from people who are younger than us. It's a literal bat, bro, he said. And now I have to have all of these shots. And it's a series of like 10 shots.
Yeah, it's a series.
Yeah. And it's something you have to do. Travel was a mess for some travelers in Atlanta over the weekend, Atlanta International Airport, when the ceiling began to leak water and raw sewage. Jamal Carlos Jr. was waiting at the gate when it got even worse. Here's the moment caught on camera when the raw sewage began spilling out of the ceiling.
There goes the ceiling.
Jamal said it had been pouring consistently for maybe 10 to 15 seconds, and it just progressively got worse. It stinks really, really bad. Yesterday, I was at a store, and I got to tell you, I am now convinced that I must look young because the clerk that was checking me out was very, very friendly and ended our transaction by saying, "Thanks, dude." I thought that was, he must think I'm like
hip.
One of him. One of him.
Okay, relevant.
Thanks, dude. And I responded by, "You're welcome. Dude." A woman in L.A. was left with a nearly $8,000 parking bill after visiting a local hospital. She was only there for 45 minutes. That's some expensive parking. Her receipt from the parking machine claimed her car was parked there for 3 years. Here is the woman actually talking about what happened.
Could be the difference between, paying your rent or mortgage, paying for medications. The ticket had indicated I was there since July 3rd, 2022. I said, well, who can I speak with? And he refused to give me a name of anyone I could speak with. I'm going to speak up. That's not okay. 2 different people have said things like this happen in that lot. Makes me think I'm not the only one that this has happened to.
Today also is National Root Beer Float Day.
Oh, nice.
If you care, I'm a big fan of the root beer float. In fact,
I know what's for lunch then.
We used to when we would be in parades. I don't know if we ever did one while I was here, Davey, but I remember the last Doodah parade in Ilion. Every year they do what they call the Doodah parade. Anybody can be in it.
Yep.
And I remember getting my family together. I got all the people from the radio station, and we served root beer floats out of the back of the radio station van. It was messy, but it was really maybe the best thing we ever did in a parade. People didn't come to us. We had to run to them because you don't want to get somebody run over.
Yeah, right.
But it was a pretty cool deal. Today, here on this August the 6th, 2025, is National Root Beer Float Day. Okay, quick break. I can do that, Davey. Quick break, and we'll come right back. News is coming up in a second. We have a packed program today that begins in the 7 o'clock hour where we're not going to have much time to breathe, but there's a lot of good stuff. And we'll speak with Shauna from Mohawk Valley Edge and their take on what they know about Wolfspeed and the investment that Wolfspeed is making in the area. These are not my words. I'm saying what they're saying. And I know there are people out there that have stupid opinions. But listen, don't we all want this to succeed?
I mean, seriously.
I mean, what are we doing here? Let's take and let's bash them and drag them down and tell them they're lying to us and tell them they're never going to succeed. For what reason?
I know.
So
because
you
they came to our community and invested billions of dollars to sink their own ship.
Don't understand it, but we're going to speak with Shauna from Mohawk Valley Edge. Coming up, hold tight at WIBX.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TIRE for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TIRE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TIRE.
Hi, I'm Lisa, owner of Fit Body Boot Camp in Clinton and Whitesboro. I couldn't be prouder of our amazing members. Take a listen.
My name is Juliana Carone, and I'm from New Hartford, New York. Clinton Fit Body Boot Camp actually found me. When I walked through the doors, I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to keep up because I am 68 years old. I was scared to death, but everybody was smiling, everybody was having a great time, and everybody just came out of the woodwork and greeted me. I have been there since March of 2024. Physically, I've lost 20 pounds. I've lost about 10 inches overall. I have a husband at home who has some health issues, and so I needed to be healthy to take care of him. It's given me more patience with him most of the time. And I sleep better at night. I can't say enough about Clinton Fit Body Boot Camp.
If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. The time is now to live your best life at Fit Body Boot Camp.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Davey, I need you on that microphone. Get in there. We have something very, very important to speak about here. You just came from Buffalo Bills camp, training camp. A couple of days ago, you were there.
I actually went the first day, 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, today I went, the
All right.
23rd.
There is Megan Frazier. And but I don't have her name right, do I?
Megan McGrogan.
McGrogan. Yeah. I'm sorry, Megan. Sorry. I'm so old school. I only stick with maiden names.
Well, she goes by Megan Frazier.
Well, she hyphenates.
Megan Frazier McGrogan.
We learned from my daughter recently. She said, "I am not giving up my name. I don't care who the man is. It'll never happen. I'm going to keep our name. He'll have to take my name." So she's not even getting married anytime soon, I don't think. So, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Sorry. It is semantics. Peter McRogan is celebrating his 8th birthday today. That is Megan's son. They are on their way to Buffalo Bills training camp. What strings can you pull so that he can hang with Josh Allen?
I didn't pull any strings. I didn't even get a chance to hang with Josh Allen.
I'll bet you he has a better chance than you do.
Well, they do have a section where they can register for kids.
Davey was literally walking around on his knees trying to claim that he was a child, an 8-year-old.
I did score a couple autographs.
Anyway, it's cool, though, right? They're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got to jump between offense and defense. There's 2 fields, Megan. Offense and defense. There's a field off in the far where the defense is.
Talk to Peter. Tell Peter.
And then you'll see James Cook. Hopefully he's practicing because he's holding out.
Well, yesterday there was something that went down. There was a top running back prospect who was in the same draft class as Cook, who went for about, $4 million less than what Cook is asking for. And experts are saying that just destroyed his case for holding out for more money. He's going to have to settle now.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So maybe he practices today.
And, of course, the first week of preseason is this week. The Giants are playing the Bills at Highmark Stadium at 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Those are awful games, right?
I mean, Josh Allen and them are not going to play.
Probably not even going to see Josh Allen in preseason.
It's going to be Mitch Trubisky, Mike White. You'll probably see Ray Davis.
But it's still, it's still a good feeling to see that. Anyway, happy birthday to Peter McRogan. And on his 8th birthday, and good luck, fingers crossed, that he gets to meet up with Josh Allen.
Well, if he gets in the right spot over there where the players come,
that's where
Josh
you
Allen
be.
usually goes right there, and as soon as practice is over, signs autographs for almost all the kids.
Almost, and he stays there for a long time. Mike says this morning, dude is better than chief or boss. That is true. I don't like that. And the other thing is, message to Wolfspeed. Welcome to Utica, proud, self-loathing community. Welcome. You'll be happy here just like us. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
Taking action against Democrats who took off. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton tells Fox they'll attempt to
remove them from office since they are not showing up to do their job.
Republican Governor Greg Abbott has taken the first step, filing a lawsuit trying to remove Democratic House Leader Gene Wu from office for leading the exodus of State House Democrats out of state to block a vote on congressional redistricting that could give the GOP 5 more U.S. House seats in the 2026 elections.
The more than 50 Texas Democratic lawmakers who fled the state, many of them to Illinois, are now getting support from the National Party. In California, Governor Gavin Newsom is preparing to call a special election to have voters approve a new congressional map that would eliminate some Republican districts.
That's Fox's Garrett Tenney in Chicago. Another attempt to stop the war in Ukraine. A special U.S. envoy meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
We are just 2 days away from President Donald Trump's new deadline for Russia to either stop the fighting or face new sanctions. And Steve Witkoff arrived in Moscow today for last-ditch efforts to try to reach some kind of agreement.
That's Fox's Alex Hogan. As the U.S. and Israel work to get more food to Palestinians in need in Gaza, Israel is considering expanding the war against Hamas and possibly taking over Gaza, occupying it, trying to get the remaining hostages released.
Eli David spoke to the UN Security Council Tuesday about his brother Eviatar being held hostage by Hamas. A recent video showed him emaciated, being told to dig his own grave.
Now these images haunt them. My father cannot sleep, and my mother has not stopped crying ever since.
Eli told the Security Council while the hostage families pressure the Israeli government to get the hostages released, he urged them to do everything they could to pressure Hamas.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The biggest wildfire in California this year keeps burning in the central part of the state in the Los Padres National Forest. More than 83,000 acres have burned, 800 structures are threatened, 3 people have been injured. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
There are updates in the Jeffrey Epstein controversy. The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed former President Clinton and others, including former attorneys general, in the search for more information and potential clients in Epstein's sex trafficking scheme. Now, he committed suicide before going on trial. Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell is asking a federal judge to block a Justice Department attempt to unseal grand jury transcripts.
A lawyer for Epstein accuser Annie Farmer stressing she wants the transcript material released. Her attorney also noting they want to make sure there are redactions relating to other victims' identifying information. The memo comes as two judges consider the DOJ's request to release the grand jury material. Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison sentence for her role in helping Epstein traffic and abuse underage girls. Her lawyers have argued releasing the transcripts will harm her legal rights. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks could rebound from yesterday's selling. Dow futures up more than 100 points. President Trump going for the gold in Los Angeles, setting up an Olympics task force.
The task force will mobilize the full federal government, President Trump says, to ensure the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles are safe, seamless, and historically successful.
America is a nation of champions, and in July 2028, we'll show the world what America does best, and that's win. We're winning like we have never won before.
The president says the Olympics in 2028 caps off a string of high-profile events, including the 2026 FIFA World Cup, co-hosted by the U.S. 2028 will mark the third time Los Angeles hosts the Summer Olympics, and the first time the Olympics are in the U.S. since the 2002 Winter Games in Salt Lake City. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
In baseball, the red-hot Red Sox won again, beating Kansas City 6-2. That's Boston's seventh straight win. They've the lead now in the American League wildcard race. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Thunderstorms possible today with highs back up into the mid-80s, but the big weather story is smoke and smog from the Canadian wildfires continuing to linger in the area. Most likely, it'll linger for the next several days, according to weather officials. Currently, the primary pollutant index is over 100 in the region, with warnings of unhealthy air quality, especially for people with heart and lung disease, older adults, as well as children and teens. The DEC says people at risk should limit their outdoor time. The North Shore Golf Club in Vienna is reporting that an unknown driver drove an ATV over the greens, causing thousands of dollars in damages. Two of the course's greens on the 9-hole course were torn up by tire tracks, according to reports. The United County Sheriff's Department is investigating. It's estimated over $20,000 in damage was done to the course. The owners of Tops and Price Chopper Market 32 are exploring the sale of their grocery stores, according to a report in Reuters. The news service says Northeast Grocery, owners of Tops and Price Chopper, are exploring a sale to other chains and to equity firms. Price Chopper and Tops merged into Northeast Grocery in 2021. In total, they own more than 300 grocery stores, including several here in the Mohawk Valley. Oneida Shores Beach in Onondaga County and parts of Oneida County closed. The Onondaga County Health Department shut down the beach due to high levels of E. coli. The beach's recent tests came back higher than the state standard for E. coli. The beach will stay closed until further notice. Anheuser-Busch investing $9 million into its Baldwinsville plant. The beer company announced the funding for upgrades at the facility on Tuesday. It'll pay for maintenance to the brewing equipment, updating the plant's refrigeration system, and prepping the plant to create more non-beer products like vodka seltzers. The new investment is expected to create jobs throughout central New York. And a reality TV star from Syracuse is starting a local social club there for paid members. The Society is set to open in Syracuse on Sunday. In sports, New York's baseball teams continue to struggle. The Yankees suffered their 5th loss in a row after being shut out by the Texas Rangers 2-0 in Arlington. Devin Williams was tagged with a loss after allowing 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks in his relief appearance. New York hopes to salvage its series finale this afternoon. The Mets continue to slide after falling to the Cleveland Guardians 3-2 from Queens. Tyler Rogers was charged with a loss after allowing 1 run on 3 hits in his relief appearance. New York has dropped 3 straight, hopes to bounce back this afternoon as well in their series finale at 1:10 p.m. The Syracuse Mets are calling on fans to help them come up with a new name. The team announced plans to rename itself ahead of the 2027 season, which is the 150th year for professional baseball in Syracuse. In a social media video, they call it the Rename the Team Community Challenge. Fans can submit name ideas through electronic forms through the end of the month before the top 10 names are announced in early September for more voting. The Mets will remain a New York Mets affiliate, the Syracuse Mets, a New York Mets affiliate through 2030. The Liberty began their home and home against the Wings with an 85-76 victory in Brooklyn. And New York City FC was topped by Toluca 2-1 in League's Cup action from Yankee Stadium. That's the latest. I'm Doug Callan from WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
More unhealthy air around, but hopefully a little bit of relief coming with some isolated showers, thunder showers that will become widely scattered into the afternoon hours. 85. Tonight, showers, thunderstorms around. Still some areas of smoke. Lows will be in the low 60s. North Country in the 50s. Some showers, thunder showers again tomorrow. Partly sunny and still some smoke. 83. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, currently we have mostly cloudy skies, 64 degrees. Coming up, I just want to get into what I have to squeeze in this hour because it ain't going to be easy, Davey. Mighty John, the record guy. This record could be worth $10,000. It's an Elvis record that doesn't have Elvis on the label. I'll explain that coming up. Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal, weekly legal segment. We're going to talk about Caitlin Conley as well, and that case out of Hancock Airport in Syracuse. An interesting one. Hobica's free money question of the day. Davey, this morning, it is worth, where are you at here this morning?
$200.
All right. I'm not even, listen, I've decided I'm not going to overrule. I don't want to say overrule, but change what you say. Is that fair?
Yes.
You're saying $200? I'm going to agree. Yes, $225. Exactly what you said. No, it'll be $200 today. We'll do that at 7:35, and we're going to speak with Mohawk Valley Edge on the Wolfspeed efforts to reorganize and what it all means and what is the truth. And I think we really heard it yesterday, and completely, in my opinion, I think they were completely forthcoming and honest. They certainly want this to work, and there's a market for electric cars that has just plummeted as it's become a real political issue. And all those subsidies that were out there that these companies relied on, thinking that this was U.S. policy, were eliminated, which completely changed their ball game. I don't know how some people can't see that. That's how the market fell to pieces, and that's what Wolfspeed and Danfoss and others are dealing with right now. But you got to think this market is going to bounce back, and when it does, they want to be ready. We'll speak with Mohawk Valley Edge on it coming up. So a big hour, lots to do. Hold tight. Coming right back at WIBX.
Mattress Express's summer sale is on. Get a king for the price of a queen for the price of a full, and a full for the price of a twin, starting at just $4.99. Beautiful select therapeutic mattresses. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Hey, Central New York, this is Will Kane of The Will Kane Show, and you can now hear my show every weekday at WIBX. I do things a little differently when I'm behind the microphone because I turn it over to the listeners to learn and really dig into the issues that impact everyday Americans. The Will Kane Show lets you keep ahead of the headlines and understand what's really going on in the world with in-depth discussions from leading experts and the brightest minds. From politics to sports, nothing is off topic. Listen to The Will Kane Show weekdays at 6, only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Rating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, in studio is our guest host here this morning is Beth Irons.
Good morning. Good
Beth,
morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Give us some of the ideas, some of the different products that people can find when going on your public market on Saturdays.
In farmers markets,
yeah.
What's in season?
Yeah, what is in season right now?
Blueberries are still in season, which our soon-to-be in studio guest Shauna will be able to tell you about because they have you-picked blueberries at Candelas. And North Star Orchards and
Is that where she's from?
Yes.
I did not know that. I like Candelas.
Yeah, Mike's her father, I believe.
Okay,
yeah. All right. So blueberries are big. Raspberries, blackberries are also in season right now. Currants are in season, not as easily found. We do have a farmer with us.
So for those that don't know currants, my grandfather had a currant bush or a currant tree. Yep. What is it?
I think it's a bush.
And they're very sour and tart.
Yeah, they're kind of like their taste reminds me of cranberries.
Yeah.
Like you have to cook them in order to eat.
But much more. I don't know what a cranberry tastes like. I guess without being cooked, maybe it is kind of sour. Really,
yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So it brings out the sweetness of the cranberry when it's
and it tones down the tartness.
Yeah. Before you know it, you're going to be dealing with. Do farmers markets do a lot of sweet corn, or do you just?
I was just going to say, sweet corn has been coming in for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So sweet corn is here, and you're going to start to see the things that you typically expect to go see at a farmer's market. The tomatoes are coming in, peppers, cucumbers, salads, onions. We still have some summer squash. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to start to see the beginnings of the fall stuff. I know that's a four-letter word that nobody wants to hear right now. We are in August. In less than a month, the kids will be back at school.
Well, next week is the Herkimer County Fair.
Yep.
The week after that begins the State Fair.
The State Fair.
Which really begins the wind down of, because it ends on Labor Day, so it begins the wind down of the summer season. Hard to believe.
Well, and in upstate New York, I mean, we have colleagues, farmers market colleagues, up in the Old Forge area, and the saying is you have 100 days.
Yeah.
If you run a tourist destination in upstate New York, you have 100 days.
Yeah, because even though
a summer-based tourist destination,
even though I do think that we have the potential for things to last a little longer, although they say with the climate change, things are warmer earlier and warmer later, but we didn't see that this year.
Well, it
was kind of crappy right up through June,
and it was wet.
Yeah,
and we can't. There's no control over.
How has that wetness affected anything that you're trying to grow? Like I'm way behind on tomatoes.
Yeah, and we still have farmers that are struggling to get to the market on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I mean, and they all had a delayed start because you plant. We have several farmers that planted things multiple times because if you go by seed, you put the seed in the ground. If it's too wet for too long, then the seed rots before it germinates. So it's kind of the opposite of not having enough water.
Yeah, there are some things that are flourishing through this weather.
Yes.
Like I weeds, of course, and weeds. In some cases, weeds you don't normally see. I whether it's coming from stuff that you bought.
Seeds that are mixed in with things.
Yeah.
Like mulch. Mulch is really popular. A really popular way for invasive species to motivate.
But my parents have this bush that they put in a couple of years, and each year it's kind of grown just a little bit. This year it just exploded.
Yeah.
But there are those things that just because of the amount of rain, but also some things love the heat.
The heat and the humidity.
Yeah.
And some plants are very adaptable. And again, invasive species usually are, plants that grow in places that they're not native to.
Yeah.
But they're very adaptable and very aggressive.
Yeah.
So they can take advantage of a lot of different situations, and they're very prolific.
Yeah.
So there's those things. Yeah. I mean, I have what I call across the back of my garage my gratis garden. They're flowers and bushes and shrubs that have been given to me. Like, I had a neighbor that would thin out their garden and give me some of theirs, and I would plant it just to see if it would grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're doing my plants, my annuals and my perennials around my house are doing great. And my hosta, I am a personal huge fan of hosta.
They're
plants.
enormous.
And
you really
they were huge.
You kind of have to break them up just a little bit. And,
you split them, and my hummingbirds love the blossoms, and the bees love the blossoms. And so I'm a big pollinator supporter. So
okay, it's that kind of year what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
All right, stand by. I believe I have a break here, Davey. Yes. Quick break, and we're going to get back with Jeremy Rosenthal. Looks like we're missing Mighty John. Looks like we missed Ryan Schmelz. Looked like we missed every phone guest we had this morning. Looks like there's a problem with our phone lines, and we're going to try to correct that. Coming up at WIBX.
Which room is next for you? The bedroom? Your kitchen? The living room? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. What's holding back that next home project? Is it budget? We have flooring choices for any budget and financing options available. Maybe it's inspiration. If so, come and talk to our experienced design team. We're here to help you get unstuck. Maybe you're putting off redoing a room because you're worried about spills and accidents. Whether it's a pet in training or a growing family, we have flooring solutions that can withstand anything life has to throw at it. We have incredibly durable tile options and 100% water-resistant carpeting that's both beautiful and practical. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
Jeremy? All right, well, I'm going to try to do this. I would call this old school, but in old school, we didn't have an iPhone to call
it's just
somebody.
You'd be on a dial-up phone.
Yeah, we're going to try to figure this out. But our phones are not working. I'm getting calls from people saying the app is is choppy and this, that, and the other thing. Davey, just call the engineer. Just reach out to the engineer. Can you?
Well, we don't have one.
What is that?
As far as I know, we don't have one.
We don't have what?
An engineer.
Oh, boy. That means I'm going to have to fix it. Oh, that's going to be
Uh-oh.
good.
Get your soup cans ready.
That's going to be good. All right, let me see if I can bring in Jeremy Rosenthal here, kind of a MacGyver type way. Jeremy, can you hear me? Good morning. I don't think he can. I don't think he can hear me either. Oh, hold on tight. Let's see. Let me try this. See if this would work. Jeremy, can you hear us right now? Good morning. No, that's not working. Davey, are you sure he's here? Can you come here, please? Let's try now. Can you hear me? Test 1, 2. Oh, I got
There
you
you
now.
go.
I got you now. I do have you. Good morning, Jeremy Rosenthal. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Wow, it's been horrible. Terrible. I want to sue somebody, but I don't think there's any case. It's just one of those.
All it takes to sue somebody is $300 and a bad attitude. I think we're going to be fine.
Okay, I think we're going to be just fine. All right, listen, I know we have cases to get into. We take 3 topics, but I did want to throw a couple of quickies at you here this morning. In the Caitlin Connolly case that I know you're familiar with, there's a big moment going on today. The district attorney is trying to remove the judge from the case, claiming, I believe, and again I'm kind of throwing this out there, I believe because the judge he feels may be biased in the case. Now recently there was a situation where on the DA side, on the county side, some case law was presented as part of their case, and it was determined to be maybe done by AI, and they were non-existent cases, which caused a big to-do. So all of that is going into this effort to remove the judge. What do you think of that? And I know you don't know a lot about it, but your thoughts.
You guys get it all. I mean, listen, this is to have an AI hallucination. I'll tell you this: when it comes to AI, that it'll lie to you about the legal stuff. And if I could nerd out a little bit about AI, I love me some AI. But the way I think the best way to think of it in a professional setting is this: the more administrative the task, the better it's going to be. AI is great at math, probably never makes a mistake. When you're asking it to do a spreadsheet, also very good. When you're asking it to organize, categorize, when you're asking it questions that are more complicated, it doesn't know what it doesn't know. And I'll tell you this much: in looking at case law, it's got about a 50% error rate in my experience. You have to plug in every single case because it will tell you cases that don't exist.
That don't exist. Somehow, Jeremy, I lost you. I'm getting like a speaker version of your phone call. So if you want to check that, but yeah, 50. Think about that. 50% chance that maybe it grabs something that isn't real. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, and so I hopefully the legal profession's getting a wake up call on the AI, and you got to check it because you'll rule on things that are wrong. Now, I don't know that equates to a recusal. Your recusals are typically going to be over some kind of bias, some kind of, and it can't be biased that like, look, judges can be biased, but they have to be biased by what goes on in front of them. Right. They're people too. Look, I mean, the judge will say, look, I'm biased against you because you're a child molester, and I've sat in court for a full week and listened to how bad of a child molester you are. Yeah, I'm biased. You're going to the joint for a long time. That is fair and square. Now, if it's I'm biased because, you know, your mom and my mom never got along and I'm dumb enough to say something about it out loud, now we're talking.
So in this case, they're two separate. The AI and the judge removal are two separate situations. And I don't know on what grounds, but that they're trying to remove the judge. But I think that's going to be a very interesting. So today we may get a ruling on it today, so it's going to be very interesting. The other case that I wanted to throw at you quickly that you might want to look at is out of Syracuse, where an attorney who represents oftentimes women in sexual harassment cases was placing a banner ad, like a billboard, at the local airport, the Hancock International Airport in Syracuse. And her ad said, when HR called it harmless flirting, we called it Exhibit A. So she was just about to start the ad for $680 per month, and the company handling the airport advertising came back and said, sorry, we're not going to run this ad. You got to tone it down. This ad will offend our male flyers. It's made the news here. It's kind of an interesting story. Do you think that was, is that an offensive ad, do you think, what I read to you?
I think that this advertising company is hiding something. I think there's a lot of harmless flirtation at the upper management of that place.
Maybe that's where it's happening. Oh,
yeah, I think. I look. I mean, it's America. You don't have to run ads that you don't like. So I don't know that's. I don't know that they're violating any state bar rules. That's a pretty clever. That's a pretty clever ad.
Yeah.
And I don't know that. And as lawyers, we're pretty regulated when it comes to advertising. We're like the drug companies, to where you watch the 4 seconds of everybody on a swing set and everybody's happy, and then you get 20 seconds of all the different kinds of diarrhea you can get. So that's kind of what lawyer ads are like too.
Yeah.
But I think that these people I would, if I was this plaintiff's lawyer, I would go start interviewing these guys' employees.
We will speak with this attorney, Megan Thomas, in the 8 o'clock hour. That's going to be very interesting. All right.
Fun.
Let us do your weekly legal segment. Let's start with 3 topics here. Topic number 1, Governor Abbott in Texas ordering the arrest of Texas Democrats in this legislative standoff. Where do you think this is going?
I think this is theater, and we do this in Texas every 5 years or so. And breaking quorum is a really old, tried and true weapon, like filibustering or points of order or things like that. And what's unique about our legislature is that these are citizens. Our legislators are not full time. They meet once every 2 years. They're butchers and bakers and candlestick makers, and hopefully they're a lot of lawyers. But being in Chicago for a month hurts their wallet very, very badly. And Greg Abbott knows this, and he can keep calling 30-day sessions one after the other. So it will break. The bigger question is this time it seems to be triggering a ripple across the country, with California and New York threatening redistricting now to retaliate. And all of us are going to have congressional districts with 478 sides.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess. Yeah,
it's going to be a mess.
Topic number 2, 6 Florida men sentenced for trafficking military-grade firearms to Mexican drug cartels. Oh, this is nice.
Right? I mean, who doesn't want their local cartel to have a 50 cal?
Yeah, that's right.
That's what these guys were getting. They were sending in straw men to purchase really that's the news part of this, is that straw buyers happen all the time, and weapons in America wind up in Mexico all the time. In fact, last year we had the story about the Mexican government suing American weapon manufacturers over it. What's kind of the news story here is that they're selling these are like bazookas and really hardcore stuff. And they found it because it turned up in a firefight in Mexico, and the Mexican federales, the authorities are picking up these 50 cals, and they're like, oh my, where did they get this thing? Yeah. And so they got them in Florida, and these folks were straw buyers, meaning they go in, they pay somebody cash who does qualify to buy a weapon, and they flip it to somebody else, and then 1, 2, 3 they need to do a better job of erasing the serial number. That was their big mistake here. But yeah, really, really scary stuff.
The third topic is, this is a doozy. Alabama inmate claiming a local doctor there cut off too many of his toes. What do you think?
I think it sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
So the guy's in a prison in Alabama where he gets a spider bite. I'm sure that prison is completely sanitary and there's no infestations or anything like that. But yeah, they take him off site. From a legal standpoint, it's really hard to sue the government, even when they chop off the wrong toes or you tell them my big toe only, and you wake up and your foot looks like it doesn't look like it needs to look. And so we'll see what happens here. I'm curious to see. I don't know if he's got a lawyer. Sometimes these fellas file what are called pro se lawsuits, and medical malpractice is a really, really, really hard area to practice in. And if you don't have counsel, you're kind of done.
Yeah. He wants $2 million, by the way.
Look, the guy could be a laborer. He's going to get out here in a few years. He's got a 5-year sentence. You're going to miss those toes. So I say give it to him.
Okay. We'll see where it goes. Jeremy, as always, somehow, like MacGyver, we were able to pull this thing off. I appreciate it. Thank you. We'll talk again next week. Have a great week.
You too.
All right. Thanks so much, Jeremy Rosenthal from Fox News Radio. And that case today, just to clarify, I don't necessarily understand the whole case in terms of the removal of Judge Clark, but I believe the DA's office is saying that their claim is that she's biased in this case. If you remember, when you went back to the hearing that occurred when the DA was trying to get Caitlin Conley held, Judge Clark really went after the DA pretty hard.
Well, that ended up being such a convoluted case.
It is anyway. Now, we're talking about the potential of putting her on trial again.
Yeah, retrying her.
So there's a lot happening there, and we'll see what comes of all of that. I do believe we'll be speaking with Caitlin Conley's attorney later in the week, and also with the district attorney. So, and of course, her attorney is asking for Judge Clark to remain on the case. So we'll see where it all goes. We'll do Habaika's somehow free money question of the day. I'll come up with an idea on how to do it. And then we'll speak with Mohawk Valley Edge on Wolfspeed. I think that's going to be very interesting. We'll get to all of it coming up at WIBX.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Thunderstorms possible today with highs back up into the mid-80s, but the big weather story is smoke and smog from the Canadian wildfires continuing to linger in the area. Most likely, it'll linger for the next several days, according to weather officials. Currently, the primary pollutant index is over 100 in the region, with warnings of unhealthy air quality, especially for people with heart and lung disease, older adults, as well as children and teens. The DEC says people at risk should limit their outdoor time. The North Shore Golf Club in Vienna is reporting that an unknown driver drove an ATV over the greens, causing thousands of dollars in damages. 2 of the course's greens on the 9-hole course were torn up by tire tracks, according to reports. The Oneida County Sheriff's Department is investigating. It's estimated over $20,000 in damage was done to the course. The owners of Tops and Price Chopper Market 32 are exploring the sale of their grocery stores, according to a report in Reuters. The news service says Northeast Grocery, owners of Tops and Price Chopper, are exploring a sale to other chains and to equity firms. Price Chopper and Tops merged into Northeast Grocery in 2021. In total, they own more than 300 grocery stores, including several here in the Mohawk Valley. Oneida Shores Beach in Onondaga County and parts of Oneida County closed. The Onondaga County Health Department shut down the beach due to high levels of E. coli. The beach's recent tests came back higher than the state standard for E. coli. The beach will stay closed until further notice. That's the latest. I'm Doug Callan from WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
More unhealthy air around, but hopefully a little bit of relief coming with some isolated showers, thunder showers that'll become widely scattered into the afternoon hours. 85. Tonight, showers, thunderstorms around. Still some areas of smoke. Lows will be in the low 60s. North Country in the 50s. Some showers, thunder showers again tomorrow. Partly sunny and still some smoke. 83. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, we're trying to figure out how to continue our broadcast. Currently, mostly cloudy. Yes, the smog is out there. 65 degrees. Coming up, we'll do Hobica's free money question of the day. It's worth $200. We'll tell you how you can participate. Coming right up at WIBX.
Are your windows old and tired? Hard to put up and down? Builder's grade windows just aren't made to last very long. Patriot Home Solutions is a different kind of window company. No games or gimmicks, no long drawn-out sales presentations, just high-quality, custom-fit windows at reasonable prices made right here in New York. And right now, you can get up to $2,000 off new windows from Patriot and NYSERDA, plus 0% interest for 18 months. Most homeowners qualify for the savings, and income is not one of the requirements. So write this number down, 315-401-0440. That's 401-0440. Patriot Home Solutions will tell you right over the phone if you qualify. Don't miss your chance to save up to $2,000 on new windows. Funds are limited, so call before they run out. Learn more at callpatriothomesolutions.com. That's callpatriothomesolutions.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Which room is next for you? The bedroom? Your kitchen? The living room? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. What's holding back that next home project? Is it budget? We have flooring choices for any budget and financing options available. Maybe it's inspiration. If so, come and talk to our experienced design team. We're here to help you get unstuck. Maybe you're putting off redoing a room because you're worried about spills and accidents. Whether it's a pet in training or a growing family, we have flooring solutions that can withstand anything life has to throw at it. We have incredibly durable tile options and 100% water-resistant carpeting that's both beautiful and practical. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Hi, I'm Lisa, owner of Fit Body Boot Camp in Clinton and Whitesboro. I couldn't be prouder of our amazing members. Take a listen.
My name is Kim Shackler, and I'm from Deansboro, New York. What brought me to Clinton Fit Body Boot Camp was there was an email that went out asking people to put in for a free membership. I was very, very excited. As soon as I walked through those doors, those coaches were just absolutely amazing. Greeted you right away, explained what you were going to be doing, how everything was going to be run there. I have loved it ever since, and I go 6 days a week. I have met so many wonderful, beautiful people that have become my very closest friends. Ages all the way into their 20s and all the way up into their 60s and 70s. Age doesn't matter. Those bonds that you make there at this gym is absolutely beautiful, and the coaches are all there for you.
If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. The time is now to live your best life at Fit Body Boot Camp.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, Davey, you want to do it that way? And then you'll be looking, Davey, can you hear me? And then you'll call them on your cell phone. You'll hand your cell phone to me. This is so stupid. I could do a better job in my basement. I swear to God, I'm just telling you. You'll then use your cell phone to call the person, then hand it to me. I will interrupt the interview with Shauna, and we'll do the free money question because it's worth $200. Why does somebody want to give that up? I mean, it's $200 from Obica. So here's how we're going to do it. Davey, correct me if I'm wrong. People can use the app. Don't do it on YouTube because everyone will have your phone number. But on the app, it's only us that sees the phone number, right? So send us your first name and your phone number, and then we'll call you and play the contest. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can't Mohawk Valley Edge
what
help us?
number are you going to do?
Can't you help us? Don't you see we're suffering, Shauna? I mean, aren't you there to help?
We're here to help.
Okay. All right. So on the app, on the WIBX 950 app, send us. You're going to have to come in here and wait for it to come in.
We'll take the first.
First.
The first one?
First. I don't want to. Don't make it more complicated. First one that sends us their name and phone number, and then we'll call you and we'll do the contest. I have a great question today that could land somebody $200. Remember, we're very distracted today, so that's when we give up really easy questions, says Hobica. I can tell when you're easy and alien. The app is glitching. Listen, there's nothing we can do. We're trying. Maybe YouTube is better. You might want to try YouTube. I don't know. On the hot seat here this morning, it really isn't a hot seat. I just am distracted. In studio is Shauna Papal, president of Mohawk Valley Edge, and also before we get to that, is Sweet Corn in or not yet? Where are we? I saw a lot of activity.
I preempted him for you.
I saw a lot of activity over at your place the other day.
Blueberries have been in for a while with you.
Yeah, so this nice and tight on the microphone if you can. You literally have to be on it. So Sweet Corn is in.
Yes, from my bad hobby of family farm.
Family farm. All right, good. All right, deep breath, everybody. You tell me when you're ready. Yesterday, of course, we had Wolfspeed on, and, there were a few comments that maybe set me off just a little bit. Like, let's just talk about interviewing for a moment. What, as a community, do we really want? Do we want to bring on businesses that are making an attempt to invest in the region? Then they're saying, listen, we're reorganizing, we're in a collapsed market, and you can see it, just read the national news. Am I supposed to then, I don't believe you, I think you're lying to us? There's no reason to lie, right?
There is no reason to lie, and I think that's been one of the challenges of our community.
Yeah.
We always want to see the negative side, the glass is half empty.
Yeah.
I think
there's always a conspiracy.
There is, but and there's always the truth to be told. But I think that if we approach it with a very positive feeling and want to say, tell us what you're doing to help improve our community.
I would like to interrupt and say I'm going to disagree a little bit. And because our role really is not the role of Mohawk Valley Edge or the Chamber. Our role is not to be here to necessarily make the community better. Our role is to kind of get to the truth and report on. So I almost feel like let's look at it logically, just logically. You have a market that is collapsed. You have companies that came into this with good intentions. There was a lot of money spent and a lot of state money that came in. So when we're talking about tax dollars Had that money not been invested here, it would have gone to Long Island or to Buffalo or somewhere else. And why not us?
100%.
So they make an investment. We all make an investment. And the goal is you want it to work. And I'm assuming they want it to work because they could all be out of a job, and that could make its way all the way to the top.
Correct. And, when you have projects like that, like Wolfspeed, Danfoss, Chobani, any of them, they're investing more money than our local as well as the state.
Absolutely.
But it feels it's ours. And I think that's give you credit to ask the tough questions, and that is important.
Well, the water question was a big one. We've heard a lot of stuff that that they owe a lot of money when it comes to the water authority, and that as part of this reorganization, they're not going to have to pay that back. The reality is, you looked into this.
I did, and they're paying everything back. They are not forgoing paying anybody. You use the right word. It's a restructuring. Everybody hears bankruptcy and you think the worst thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, as soon as we started hearing there were issues and concerns, we were on it with the company. But the better part was they were very forthright with us. They've gone through a lot of change structurally, but with those changes in the corporate structure, they've also made changes in their operation. We got to remember, starting in 2020, they were doing construction here at Marcy and also in Siler City. They're now going into production. And, you're right. The economy, the change in the electric vehicle market, it hit them. It hit a lot of companies.
Yeah.
But they're trying to a very positive approach of how do we restructure?
Are they diversifying?
They are. They're looking at some different markets. They're still going to stay in the EV market.
Right.
It will catch up eventually. But guess what? We're slowing down in the U.S. And, us three sitting here, we're not going to change that. That's
Correct.
so far beyond us.
I have a lot of people piping in on this, and were there provisions, and how do we handle? For instance, we bring in a company, a lot of tax dollars go to that company, a lot of private money goes in, their own money goes back in. Do we have restrictions? If you say you're going to have 600 jobs, if you don't have 600 jobs in so long, is there a penalty? And should there be?
There is. And yes, there should be.
And did that apply to Danfoss?
So with Danfoss, that's a project that the state of New York handled.
Okay.
And I know the state is dealing with that with them very closely. With Wolfspeed, there are provisions that they need to create the jobs. They've exceeded the jobs that they had committed to our community. The contracts read that they're supposed to have so many jobs by a certain period of time. The Industrial Development Agency was involved and put some very strict rules in place. They have 500 people. I went after the discussion yesterday.
Because he had said there were a couple hundred yesterday.
Yes.
You say that's not correct.
That is not correct. I went back and confirmed with them. They're closer to 500 between their employees as well as some contractors. And they've been staying at that number. They went ahead and they're still very marginally increasing their employment. They recognize they need for talent. They recognize as they get into other areas besides EV that they're going to need people to come work there.
Especially if and when at some point this market is going to rebound, I would think, or maybe the technology moves on to something else. But if they're fluid and they're willing to diversify and look at other opportunities, they should be a part of that market.
And they will. With silicon carbide, they're at the cutting edge. And that's a product that, we all want those thinner phones that don't heat up and that last longer. And they're looking at areas that, I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to disclose their R&D. But they're looking at areas that, you'd sit there and look at them and say, wow, we never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
They are staying majority in the EV market because that's where they are. And they're going to slowly diversify more and more and more. They're going to look at the battery storage. They're going to look at what is AI, what is quantum going to need. And silicon carbide stays cooler longer and lasts longer. It's more of a solid, product.
Yeah. Danfoss, can we talk just a little bit about, obviously a disappointment.
100%.
And we've been hearing the rumors that they were going to close. Again, it comes back to when we're told we're not closing, well, yes, you are. Is that what I'm supposed to say? And then we later hear that they are, and I think by law they had to inform their employees, and that's how this all got out. But how do you react to Danfoss?
So at Danfoss, I mean, we're all disappointed. And I know that it's a struggle that you have employees, and I think that's our first concern of, can we position them somewhere else? And that is happening.
Yeah.
You have people approaching them, working with Department of Labor to employ them. And once again, it's the EV market. They put so much into it. I wouldn't say that they're not closed yet, and I think they're looking at what other divisions does Danfoss have throughout the U.S. that can look at this. New York Creates, SUNY put a lot of effort into getting them into the Quad C building. Beautiful building. The money's been invested, a lot by the state, a lot by SUNY, and a lot by Danfoss. I think the important piece we need to do now is figure out how do we maximize what that investment is and not let a building sit empty.
And that's where and you're able to work on that. You don't have to leave that to the state.
Correct. But we work in partnership with the state. That's important because they have such a strong division with New York Creates down in Albany. Billions of dollars have been invested there. And also they now have an office called GoSemi. And it's really Empire State Development, but they have a team dedicated to how do we maximize what we have. What's happening in Micron is going to impact us, and it's going to impact us for the positive.
That was my next question. It's this is going to be an enormous facility. One would think that that there will be opportunities that will go out through the region.
There is. And New York State has been working to create a program called SGAP, Semiconductor Growth Access Program. And what that is to work with businesses to help them get into the supply chain. There are some companies already in that supply chain that will grow, but how do you take businesses not in that industry and say, how can we help position you with a new business plan? How do you have to be structured? What do you need to plan for financially to get into the semiconductor industry to be a supplier to Micron or Wolfspeed or Global Foundries?
Do you feel we have reached a point, because it's felt like for a long time that we take one step forward, but two, or sometimes feels like 3 steps back. It's been that way. Have we reached a point where we aren't looking at that deficit anymore? I mean, Chobani is a pretty big bonus.
Chobani is going to be great for our community. Yeah. It's a different industry, but it's where we can see additional growth. I've always felt when the economy was down years ago, we were always below that economic curve. I feel now that we're above it. When the economy is decreasing a little, we're still above it with what's happening with Wolfspeed, what's happening with Chobani, what's happening with a lot of other companies that have invested and have grown.
Obviously, the base, I call it the base.
Yeah,
Griffiths.
It's always going to be the base.
It's hard to put that out of your head. But Griffiths, it's exceeded expectations.
Griffiths Business and Technology Park has exceeded expectations. We will put that up against any other corporate business park. And the response we get a lot from people from outside the area, they are so impressed. The goal 30 years ago was to be sure it was diversified. We didn't want to rely on one industry.
Right. Yes.
We recognize the importance of the Air Force Research Lab, and we continue to work to secure them and help them grow with their supply chain. But, we also recognize we need other types of businesses. And, from distribution to warehousing to technology to engineering, there's so much happening there. And if people haven't been through Griffiths, I encourage them to go take a drive through. You reach the point when it's not just about the businesses, it's about the community.
Yeah.
And Griffiths Local Development Corporation invested money in community projects, a walking trail, a disc golf course, a sculpture park, and they did that with the participation of other groups like Griffiths Landowners Association.
I was going to say the residences that are out there.
There's now housing, and I think you're going to start seeing activities happen there as well that we want to draw the community in.
I normally have a moment to pre-read these, and I don't, so I have a lot of people piping in. So if you'll bear with me. Wolfspeed is so committed to this community, they're actually slowing down or shuttering operations in other parts of the country. To have people here talk about that.
So they made a commitment when they made the decision to construct at the Mohawk Valley Fab, and when they also decide to invest in Siler City, where they're going to grow the silicon. And they said, the Durham facility is going to be shuttered. It's going to be reduced in what it's producing, and we're shifting that up to the Marcy Fab. And, we met with the CEO a couple weeks ago, and I think he was so in awe of the facility. It's state of the art, but it was the people too. And, we have that in our community, and, we always talk about how do you really describe our community? Companies come here and they're so impressed by what we offer, by our people, by our commitment, by the partnership of our community groups and our organizations, and it makes a big difference.
I have Joe asking if there's some of this has already been addressed. Replacement for Dan Foss. This is part of the plan. Obviously, you don't want that to go empty. No, you don't. So Dan Foss is still there through the rest of the year. They've used the word shuttered. They did not use the word closed in what they shared with us. Now, like you said, if they're not here, there's not people, it's, it could be interpreted as closed. Yes. But New York State and Edge and the Go Semi program were all committed to finding a use for that facility along with SUNY Poly. Did Dan Foss fulfill their contract obligations? Or was that agreement, I think you mentioned that agreement was with the state. That agreement is with the state, and I know the state is spending a lot of time talking with them and trying to negotiate what's going to happen there. I got a minute and a half. What do you want people to take away from all of this? I want the community to realize that there's a lot happening, and it's not just with the semiconductor industry. Chobani is a phenomenal project that our community should embrace. And we seem to be just at the beginning of that. We haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And it's going to have a great impact across the whole
generations.
state. It's a generational project. I am so lucky that I've worked on things like the Griffiths Park. I've worked on Wolfspeed. Now I got Chobani. I'm so blessed that I have this opportunity to work on these projects, but it's bringing to the community. It's bringing to the people the opportunity for growth, for investment, for our youth to come back to. Yeah, that's big. I mean, is there a job that is worthy of your kids or grandkids saying, I want to come back because I know I can make really good money
or I want to
here.
stay here when I graduate.
Yeah. And I think it's our job to communicate that because there are those jobs. Chobani's going to have jobs across the board, from production workers to people who are working in their accounting, their marketing, their R&D. And there's going to be just such great investment by them to our community.
Certainly in the beginning, a lot of construction.
A lot.
A lot. Boy, I wish I'd have invested in concrete. I have a feeling there's going to be a real need for it.
It's concrete and welders.
And the thing is to keep in mind, too, that
I got a break. I apologize. Shauna Papel, Mohawk Valley Edge, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Coming in. I appreciate it. Sweet Corn is back. Quick break. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
Can he convince Vladimir Putin to stop the war? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Special Envoy Steve Witkoff talked to Russia's leader this morning in Moscow ahead of a U.S. deadline to work out a ceasefire in Ukraine or face economic punishment.
Russian officials claim that they're skeptical that new U.S. sanctions will have an impact. Still, if no deal is reached by Friday, President Trump has floated two kinds of consequences: new sanctions on Russian imports to the U.S. and secondary tariffs, meaning tariffs on countries importing Russian energy. And that could impact major players like India and China.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Iran executed a seventh alleged Israeli spy today, accused of helping Israel target a nuclear scientist killed in the June military operation to damage Iran's nuclear program, as Israel defends its war in Gaza amid international criticism of starving Palestinians.
Israel facilitating huge amounts of aid into Gaza. No other country acts this way in war under such difficult circumstances.
That's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar, as Israel considers escalating the war against Hamas to get the remaining hostages released and maybe occupy Gaza. Dozens of Democratic state lawmakers in Texas remain out of state, including Carol Alvarado.
You all heard the game Texas Hold'em. Well, we are literally holding the line on democracy, not just for Texas, but for our nation.
They fled to block a vote on congressional redistricting that could give Republicans 5 more seats in the House in the 2026 elections in Texas. Republican Governor Greg Abbott has filed a lawsuit trying to remove the state House Democratic leader from office. President Trump says,
in a certain way, it almost looks like they've abandoned the state. It looks very bad. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Should the FBI get involved? Should the FBI get involved?
Well, they may have to.
Another immigration detention facility will be built, joining the controversial Alligator Alcatraz in Florida. This one will be in Indiana, called the Speedway Slammer. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem tells Fox it'll house those ICE arrests.
They will be processed and go through due process.
America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
It is day 6 of the manhunt in Montana for Michael Brown, an Army veteran turned suspected quadruple murderer, accused in Friday's shooting at a bar in Anaconda that left 4 people dead.
We absolutely have to assume that he's armed and extremely dangerous. Clearly an unstable individual. He's had access to firearms, numerous firearms in his home, and he used a firearm to commit a really heinous series of crimes.
Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen. A manhunt for another quadruple murder suspect ended in Tennessee. A man suspected in the killing of 4 members of the same family.
Jackson, Tennessee Police Chief Tom Corley said the capture of Austin Drummond Tuesday was phase 1.
The real work starts, and the lengthy work will start at this point.
Community sightings helped lead to Drummond's arrest. He's charged with 4 counts of murder as well as aggravated kidnapping and weapons offenses. The DA for Dyer and Lake counties, Danny Goodman, said now the legal system takes over.
This investigation is going to go on for a good period of time. In addition to that, there will be lots of court appearances, lots of hearings.
Ahead of a trial where the death penalty may be sought, some alleged accomplices are in custody. Police say there could be more arrests. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Well, they carried out the death penalty in Tennessee. The same day Drummond was caught. Convicted killer Byron Black was executed in Nashville, where State Correction Commissioner Frank Strada announced...
Inmate Black was pronounced dead at 10:43. He had no last words.
Well, no formal last words. Witnesses say Black told a spiritual advisor right after getting the lethal injection that it hurt so badly. Then he sighed and breathed heavy and died. There was controversy over whether a defibrillator implant could cause Black pain in that execution. On Wall Street, we are seeing stock futures on the rise this morning, up more than 100 points for the Dow. This after selling yesterday that dragged the Dow and the NASDAQ both down. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Thunderstorms possible today with highs back up into the mid-80s, but the big weather story is smoke and smog from the Canadian wildfires continuing to linger in the area. Most likely, it'll linger for the next several days, according to weather officials. Currently, the primary pollutant index is over 100 in the region, with warnings of unhealthy air quality, especially for people with heart and lung disease, older adults, as well as children and teens. The DEC says people at risk should limit their outdoor time. The North Shore Golf Club in Vienna is reporting that an unknown driver drove an ATV over the greens, causing thousands of dollars in damages. 2 of the course's greens on the 9-hole course were torn up by tire tracks, according to reports. The United County Sheriff's Department is investigating. It's estimated over $20,000 in damage was done to the course. The owners of Tops and Price Chopper Market 32 are exploring the sale of their grocery stores, according to a report in Reuters. The news service says Northeast Grocery, owners of Tops and Price Chopper, are exploring a sale to other chains and to equity firms. Price Chopper and Tops merged into Northeast Grocery in 2021. In total, they own more than 300 grocery stores, including several here in the Mohawk Valley. Oneida Shores Beach in Onondaga County and parts of Oneida County closed. The Onondaga County Health Department shut down the beach due to high levels of E. coli. The beach's recent tests came back higher than the state standard for E. coli. The beach will stay closed until further notice. Anheuser-Busch investing $9 million into its Baldwinsville plant. The beer company announced the funding for upgrades at the facility on Tuesday. It'll pay for maintenance to the brewing equipment, updating the plant's refrigeration system, and prepping the plant to create more non-beer products like vodka seltzers. The new investment is expected to create jobs throughout central New York. And a reality TV star from Syracuse is starting a local social club there for paid members. The Society is set to open in Syracuse on Sunday. In sports, New York's baseball teams continue to struggle. The Yankees suffered their 5th loss in a row after being shut out by the Texas Rangers 2-0 in Arlington. Devin Williams was tagged with a loss after allowing 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks in his relief appearance. New York hopes to salvage its series finale this afternoon. The Mets continue to slide after falling to the Cleveland Guardians 3-2 from Queens. Tyler Rogers was charged with a loss after allowing 1 run on 3 hits in his relief appearance. New York has dropped 3 straight, hopes to bounce back this afternoon as well in their series finale at 1:10 p.m. The Syracuse Mets are calling on fans to help them come up with a new name. The team announced plans to rename itself ahead of the 2027 season, which is the 150th year for professional baseball in Syracuse. In a social media video, they call it the Rename the Team Community Challenge. Fans can submit name ideas through electronic forms through the end of the month before the top 10 names are announced in early September for more voting. The Mets will remain a New York Mets affiliate, the Syracuse Mets, a New York Mets affiliate through 2030. The Liberty began their home and home against the Wings with an 85-76 victory in Brooklyn. And New York City FC was topped by Toluca 2-1 in League's Cup action from Yankee Stadium. That's the latest. I'm Doug Callan from WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
More unhealthy air around, but hopefully a little bit of relief coming with some isolated showers, thunder showers that will become widely scattered into the afternoon hours. 85. Tonight, showers, thunderstorms around. Still some areas of smoke. Lows will be in the low 60s. North Country in the 50s. Some showers, thunder showers again tomorrow. Partly sunny and still some smoke, 83. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, we have some clouds out there, a little hazy sunshine, and it'll be like that with some thunderstorms, as Ray says. But that smog exists, the air quality, which will affect water, by the way, if you have a pool. The air quality is, I think we're at like 110, which is a moderate danger zone. But if you are susceptible, if you have a health issue, you're probably going to want to limit your time outdoors.
I know over the past
today.
couple of days, I think it's gotten, because my husband tracks it on his phone.
It has gotten worse.
It's gotten, I think it was as high as 165 or 171 or something.
The number I just gave was in Marcy at like 6 o'clock this morning. So chances are it'll get worse as the day goes on. All right, we have no phone lines today. Great, considering that almost everyone we have on the air today is on the telephone. So we're trying to find a way to make it all work. And on the line right now, I didn't get, is it Chris Davey? Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling from the coast of Massachusetts in Gloucester.
Are you
on the app?
You're listening on the app. That you probably have a better quality signal than you would had you been right next to our tower right now. So that's it. So you're on vacation?
I'm on vacation, riding my bike along the coast.
Love it. That is awesome. So you're on your bike, right, looking at the ocean and ready to take a shot at $200 to help you on this vacation.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. All right. So here's how it goes. As you know, you'll have exactly 7 seconds to answer the question. And if you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right. From the Hobica Law Firm, here's your question. Charles Elmer Hires, Hires, is best known for what product. Ready, go.
I would say root beer.
You're going to go with root beer. Very easy. I knew we were going to give away. Today is National Root Beer Float Day. So not only are you out with some fresh air away from the smog that we're dealing with, out on the ocean, out on your bike, you're keen enough to be able to come up with root beer. Correct answer. It's worth $200. So congratulations.
Woo. All right. Thanks, Bill.
Nice job. I don't know if there's anyone that has won under these circumstances or even competed. That's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Stan, listen, reach out to Davey later and we'll get your information. Our phone lines are down, but you've got $200 coming. So when you're back, we'll work it all out for you, and congratulations.
All right, thanks, Bill. Thanks, Davey. Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
so much. Thank you. That is pretty darn cool. So Chris walks away with $200 from Hobica.
He bikes away with $200.
He bikes
There
away
you go.
with $200 from the Hobica Law Firm. For all your legal needs, call the Hobica Law Firm at 315-724-1600. Quick break, and we'll come back. I believe we're going to talk to Kyle Belikopitsky. Is that right? Who's the executive director of the New York State PTA. How does the PTA, how do parents and teachers, that organization, how are they perceiving this bell-to-bell cell phone ban? We'll get to that. Also, Megan Thomas is an attorney. She does work here and in Syracuse. She does specialize in sexual discrimination, maybe some sort of a sexual harassment. Trying to put an ad up at the airport in Syracuse. It was accepted. And then they said, we think you need to tone it down. You might offend men with your ad. Boy, has this opened up a can of worms. We'll talk about that with her. And then Ryan Nobles later in the hour on WIBX.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TIRE for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TIRE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TIRE.
This summer isn't just hot, it's historic. Flash flood warnings are at a 40-year high, and it's not slowing down. Towns underwater, roads washed out, and in every crisis zone, the same scene. Crowds standing in line, waiting for bottled water, waiting for food, waiting for someone to show up and save them. They tell you that help is on the way, but what if it's not? What if help takes days, or doesn't come at all? You think the system's built to protect you? They can barely handle one emergency, let alone dozens. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to be the one caught empty-handed. And right now, My Patriot Supply is giving away 4 weeks of emergency food. Just go to mypatriotsupply.com to find out how to claim your free 4-week food supply and join millions of Americans who are preparing with My Patriot Supply. Claim your free 4-week kit today at mypatriotsupply.com. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
Hi, this is Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. If you're interested in keeping up with events and news in the Mohawk Valley region, I have the show for you. It's called This Week in the Mohawk Valley, and it airs every Sunday on WIBX. Join us as we talk with area business leaders, elected officials, law enforcement, educators, and more. Don't miss This Week in the Mohawk Valley every Sunday at 9 a.m. on WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Listen, I don't want to, I know this is going to come off the wrong way. Maybe I shouldn't say it.
Well, you're you. Come on.
But I'm going to tell you that I would pity anyone without. I've worked in some very horrible radio conditions in my career. Starting out early on when we were at a small AM radio station where nothing worked. In fact, we had barely the equipment that we needed to be able to broadcast. And I learned then how to put this wire together with this wire and to do and so I'm only saying I tend to have like the MacGyver instincts and to find a way.
Did you visit some DNA you forgot you
I
had
think I think so. And maybe what it is, maybe it's not anything. Maybe I don't have any expertise. What I have is built in me that the broadcast must always go on.
Yep, the show must go on.
And if you have an obstacle, you find a way to overcome it. Luckily, we have cell phones today to kind of help along with that. Otherwise, we would have nobody on the air today. Is it Kylie or Kyle? What is that, Davey?
It's Kyle.
Kyle. Okay, she's talking to me right now, as a matter of fact. Kyle, good morning. How are you?
Good morning from Albany. How are you?
Wonderful. How do I say your? Can I give your last name a shot?
You can. It's phonetic, so try your best.
Okay, hold on. So I'm gonna say your name is Kyle Belokapitsky.
That is absolutely perfect. A+.
Wow, that was not easy. I don't do well with SKY or SKI. I usually butcher that.
Impressive.
All right. The executive director of the New York State PTA, Parent Teachers Association, this bell-to-bell cell phone ban, which does have some nooks and crannies that get filled by each individual district. So not everyone will be the same. What's your approach? What do you guys? What's your organization think?
Yeah, great question. We actually call it a limitation. So a bell-to-bell, and it's actually an internet-enabled device limitation, where we worked with the governor's office and our great teachers union and many other stakeholders to try to figure out what was going to make sense for our school buildings, our students, educators, and families moving forward. August 1st was that deadline for school districts to have those plans drafted and submitted to the state. We're seeing that happen now. Most of those plans have been submitted, so they're in kind of the review process to see where we are. And each plan is going to be individual to see what makes sense for that individual school district, what makes sense for that individual school building. We kind of see it as a state law with guardrails. So a set of rules, a set of principles, and each school district has to build their plan within that guardrail.
So I got to say, when this first was proposed, I was against it. I came out against it. Not that means anything, by the way, and really it doesn't. But I felt like school districts were already coming up with their own plans that were better fit for their situations, for their schools. But as I have read about this, it seems like that has been taken into consideration with this. So just as you said, each district gets to customize this for the best way for their community.
Yeah, and that's our hope. What we knew before we worked on this law is that 70% of our school districts approximately had some type of plan already in place. Many of them weren't this bell-to-bell limitation. Many of them were just cell phones, so they weren't the other devices. They weren't the watches or the earbuds or the special sunglasses now that, if you can imagine, you can stream your cell phone through your sunglasses. But many schools, about 70% of them, had something in place. We wanted to craft something that really encompassed support for students. What we knew in New York State, when we looked at the data, 2.5 hours of instructional time, if you can believe that. Actually, students were on their cell phone generally in school during the day. 2.5 hours of a 7-day school period, they were on their cell phone. So we knew we had some kind of a crisis. We also knew that we saw that student mental health continues to be the #1 priority really in our school buildings right now. As we can try to find ways to support student health, we knew this was a part of the equation. So we wanted to craft a law, and the governor really took lead on this. So we thank Governor Kathy Hochul. We thank the legislature, because both the Senate and the Assembly really dug in on this as well. And we worked with a lot of stakeholders, a lot of mental health experts, Office of Mental Health, and others to try to figure out what made sense for our students and our school districts. And that's what happened. So school districts districts had to work with their community stakeholders, their teachers in their school buildings, parents and families in their school buildings, students and community members to try to make that local plan. They were not told how to store the devices. They were not told a lot of things. They were given a set of guardrails. They were also said, hey, during these time periods and during these instances for student health, for student emergencies, for students with disabilities, students should still have access to those cell phones. So those are the kind of the guardrails. There's a set of exemptions in the law where students can have those cell phones. And but each of those plans is very individual to the school district. It's very different. We're going to have 700 very individual plans, and we're excited to see what this brings come September. We're really hoping that students are having that collaboration and those conversations back in our hallways, back in our lunchrooms, back in their classrooms, where they're not continually looking at their cell phones.
So one of the concerns early on was, I remember we had Senator Joe Griffo here in our state senator here in studio, who said he felt that this was going to impose expenses on school districts that would be similar to an unfunded mandate. But you're saying there is no requirement. Schools don't have to go out and buy bags. They don't have to. They can come up with their own plan that works not only logically but financially for them.
Yeah, absolutely. The bill did include $15 million, which will probably be a continuing reappropriation next year. So there was money in the bill to fund some school district expenses if they wanted to go that route. But what we're seeing is many school districts have in their plans that the phones are kept in the child's locker, that the phones are kept in a central storage area, maybe in the child's homeroom in the morning. The phone goes into a big pouch hanging on the wall for the day. So the expenses are really minimal. Some school districts may be going with the pouch style of storage. Many school districts are not going that route. So they're going with the lower cost route of just a student locker.
Okay, so you're, from the PTA standpoint, you guys are very optimistic with this.
We are cautiously optimistic. The one important thing for parents and families to know is that it is prescribed very clearly in the bill that there has to be a way for parents and families to reach their child during the school day. That is, we wrote that into the law, very particular, and everyone supported that. The governor's office, our wonderful teachers supported that. All of the stakeholders supported that. So don't fear. You can still get a hold of your child. I know I'm going to be able to call our fantastic school front office and get a hold of my student. We think it's going to be bumpy. Every new implementation in a school building sometimes is a little bumpy, but we are cautiously optimistic as we roll out this law in September that we're going to see good things. We're going to have to work through some bumps, as we always do. But at the end of the day, we're hoping that our school children are going to be collaborative. Some school districts have done this already, this bell-to-bell ban. They're on year 3. And when we talk to that superintendent, when we talk to those administrators and those principals, they're telling us the wonderful things they are seeing in their hallways that they didn't see before. And that's giving us hope.
And who knows, maybe what comes out of this is teaching a habit that could be very helpful when they go beyond their school and their high school years.
And let's talk about that habit for a minute. When my son found out about this, because he got the email from his principal a couple weeks ago, he looked at me and he said, "Did you do this? Did you write this law?" And I chuckled a little bit. And I said, Mom had something to do with it. I said, the governor's office kind of took the lead on this. And he said, "Well, Mom, you have to do this." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You text me during the day." And I paused and I said, "You know what? You're right, Jackson. I do text you during the day and I'm sorry." And he said, "Parents have to not text their children during the day. You text me every day to check in on me." He said, "Don't text me." And I said, "You're right." I said, "I'll stop doing that." He said, "You can text me at 2:30." And I chuckled. I said, "Sounds good." So we have to have good habits as well. We also have to practice good habits in home and at the dinner table. I am on my cell phone all of the time, as I'm sure you all are. You work, we're connected to our cell phones, and my son is always on me about being more present. When I'm home with him, it is something that I am constantly working on as a busy working mom, as you can imagine. And this law has really made me pause and realize that I, too, as a parent, have to do better on that. So speaking of good habits, I think we parents have to worry about that as well.
And then finally, I want to say I don't think there's anything in the legislation that requires anything for teachers. There are some school districts, including one here locally, where the ban does include staff as well. Did you guys discuss that?
Yep. So it's one thing that's very important is that we have something in New York State called Alyssa's Law, and that would be an exemption in our law. So Alyssa's Law has, as example, some type of way for a teacher, an educator, and all school staff to have some access to initiating an emergency response in case of a safety issue or, God forbid, a lockdown initiation. So in many cases, schools have used cell phone technology that teachers have an app on their phone for that kind of device. So teachers are not in the law, but that would be exempted anyways under the emergency exemption. So I'm not super concerned about that. But I know that's discussion in many school communities. Some school communities are having educators be a part of the bell to bell. Some are not. But again, that's up to that local discretion that was so important to us.
I really don't know much about it, but I hear my wife is a teacher and elementary, and they have a whole disciplinary program that she uses that involves like dojo points. It's a whole reward system, and it promotes behavior, and it's all done on a cell phone. So she'd be lost without that, without the dojo points. Yeah.
Yeah, and one other good point about the law is that this law cannot suspend a student. So that was really important to PTA and to our educators. So written in the law is that a violation of the cell phone policy cannot be the reason for a student suspension.
Oh, interesting.
I wanted to make sure that was in there. Yeah.
But if they violate and continuously violate, is there a punishment?
Yes, there can be, again, that local discretion on what happens in these code of conducts. So then that's something that's decided locally, what that looks like. As example, that could be parent meetings, that could be, staying after school, that can be those conversations with the students, et cetera. But suspension cannot really be that reason for the violation of the cell phone policy.
All right. Very interesting. We appreciate your time here, Kyle. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for all you do and getting out information to parents and families and educators.
All right, have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
All right, so there you go. That's this is a big topic. A lot of people have been talking about. Good grab there, Davey. So the PTAs for it looks like everybody's on board, and I think the key to this is it is customized from district to district based on each community's needs. I think that's probably the way to go. Got a break coming up. She is an attorney. Handles this area and Syracuse as well as other parts of upstate New York. Megan Thomas trying to place an ad involving sexual harassment at the Hancock Airport. Like other people have ads. You'll walk through the airport, you'll see these little billboard ads all over the place. Hers targeted people, women, who felt they might be sexually harassed. She's now been told she can't put the ad up because it might offend men. We'll speak with attorney Megan Thomas coming right up at WIBX.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
518-554-0000, 100 Great Oaks, Albany. Mattress Express's summer sale is on. Get a king for the price of a queen for the price of a full, and a full for the price of a twin, starting at just $4.99. Beautiful select therapeutic mattresses. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Thunderstorms possible today with highs back up into the mid-80s, but the big weather story is smoke and smog from the Canadian wildfires continuing to linger in the area. Most likely, it'll linger for the next several days, according to weather officials. Currently, the primary pollutant index is over 100 in the region, with warnings of unhealthy air quality, especially for people with heart and lung disease, older adults, as well as children and teens. The DEC says people at risk should limit their outdoor time. The North Shore Golf Club in Vienna is reporting that an unknown driver drove an ATV over the greens, causing thousands of dollars in damages. Two of the course's greens on the 9-hole course were torn up by tire tracks, according to reports. the Oneida County Sheriff's Department is investigating. It's estimated over $20,000 in damage was done to the course. The owners of Tops and Price Chopper Market 32 are exploring the sale of their grocery stores, according to a report in Reuters. The news service says Northeast Grocery, owners of Tops and Price Chopper, are exploring a sale to other chains and to equity firms. Price Chopper and Tops merged into Northeast Grocery in 2021. In total, they own more than 300 grocery stores, including several here in the Mohawk Valley. Oneida Shores Beach in Onondaga County and parts of Oneida County closed. The Onondaga County Health Department shut down the beach due to high levels of E. coli. The beach's recent tests came back higher than the state standard for E. coli. The beach will stay closed until further notice. That's the latest. I'm Doug Callan from WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
More unhealthy air around, but hopefully a little bit of relief coming with some isolated showers, thunder showers that will become widely scattered into the afternoon hours. 85. Tonight, showers, thunderstorms around. Still some areas of smoke. Lows will be in the low 60s. North Country in the 50s. Some showers, thunder showers again tomorrow. Partly sunny and still some smoke. 83. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Some haze out there, 67 degrees with clouds or haze, whatever it is, at WIBX. It's Mazda's the More to Move You sales event, which is going on right now at Steve Pawnee Mazda. Save on a new Mazda lease. Enjoy 2.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s. CX-5s with 1.9% APR financing. And that's on new 2025 Mazda CX-50s, 70s, and CX-90s. See Rick or anybody at the dealership for details. I don't know if anybody's been watching the Billy Joel documentary. You know, Ricky Z is a huge Billy Joel fan. He can play the piano parts to any Billy Joel song. You would think you were listening to the actual recording. He is so good.
I was just watching that last night.
We got about halfway through it last night. It's really good. I didn't realize he went through as much as he went through.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Mazda finished 2024 up to... Do you know that Billy Joel drives a CX-90? I don't know if that's true, but he should. A 2024 Mazda finished 16.8% in sales, up year over year. And as Rick says, come in, let's make your deal on a brand new Mazda from Steve Pawnee Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. All right, on the line, I want to go right to this. We'll have Ryan Nobles coming up in a second. Syracuse, the Hancock Airport, the company, or maybe it is the airport that handles it, whoever is handling the advertising that you see inside Hancock Airport in Syracuse, has just recently told a female lawyer she has to soften her sexual harassment ad or they won't put it up even if she pays. The ad says this: when HR called it harmless flirting, we called it Exhibit A. Call Megan Thomas Law, PLLC, today for possible sexual harassment cases. The word is that this would offend men. Oh, I will not tell you what my wife said when I passed this story by her yesterday. On the line right now is that attorney, Megan Thomas. Megan, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Bill. How are you?
Well, doing well. I have to say, I don't see your ad as being overly, I'm a guy, I don't see it as being overly offensive at this point.
Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. And I've received that message from many other men, of course, women too, who have said, listen, I'm an older guy. I see no problem with this, and many people have said the only reason I would see a problem with this is perhaps if I was doing something inappropriate. And I think that's a really good point. So
yeah.
If we're willing to put this message out there, I think we're sending the message to women that we support you. And frankly, the law supports this. The law is that there cannot be sexual harassment in the workplace, period.
Yeah, and how many times has it been described as, please, it's just Bob being Bob. He's like that. He's a hugger. He likes to hug.
Right. Yeah, and listen, in 2019, the law changed from, sexual harassment needing to be severe and pervasive, which was a higher bar, to being something more than a petty slight or a trivial inconvenience. So the bar is really low in terms of what constitutes sexual harassment. And that's really important because that helps us to have a more equal workspace. I myself have dealt with sexual harassment. My clients have dealt with it. It pushes women out of jobs. It makes us, less than in the workplace. And that's a real problem.
I don't know about you, but I've been to a lot of airports, and there are some ads in those airports that are very sexy. I would find if this is inappropriate, then so would they be inappropriate. But even at Hancock Airport, there's an ad for a physician who does breast enlargement, breast augmentation. That's okay. Why wouldn't your ad be okay?
That's right, Phil. And actually, it's funny, I was traveling just this weekend and I saw that in huge letters, breast augmentation. Listen, if that's not offensive, then why is mine offensive, right?
Yeah.
And the law is that they need to be content neutral, and they're just not being content neutral here. They're picking and choosing which messages are okay. And the message that we as women are receiving is it's okay to change our bodies and we need to look a certain way, but we cannot speak up about equality in the workplace.
What if they what have they suggested? How would they lighten this, tone it down? What do they suggest?
Yeah, they've essentially suggested multiple very toned down, very watered down phrases that not only are watered down, but also don't go with the artwork, are very verbose, so they just don't make sense. I told them, I said, listen, I wouldn't pay for that. That's not effective advertisement.
Right.
Not to mention I'd have to go back and redo all the artwork from, by the way, the artist that they recommended. So that's the other thing, everything was going just fine. The airport had seen my artwork. I went with the artist they recommended. And it wasn't until I went to leadership that I was shocked to get this message. And I was also shocked that they would say such a thing to an attorney. Like, I know the law. What are you doing here?
Yeah. I by the way, somebody just reminded me, don't forget Andrew Cuomo's defense. I'm Italian.
Possible that the sexual harassment thing can go both ways?
So Beth is asking, the sexual harassment thing could go both ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be man on woman.
That's right. Yes, I get calls, women on women, men on men, sometimes even, I haven't had this call yet, I'll be honest, but I have, read articles and such about men complaining of women harassing them.
Yeah.
So yes, it does happen, but the data is very clear. By and large, it's men harassing women.
Right.
And so, yes, it happens to everybody, but it is largely men harassing women.
Are you going to cave? How are you going to handle this?
Absolutely not. I will not cave. They have an obligation to, again, have a content neutral stance in, putting up advertisement, and I'm going to hold them to that standard. I think it's the right thing to do for women. Frankly, I think it's the right thing to do for all of us. When there's more equality, we all benefit.
And I just want to leave you with this as being someone who is dealt with marketing and advertising my entire career since I was 17 years old. This is the best $680 anyone has ever spent.
Thank you, Bill.
You're getting the exposure that money can't buy this. So very interesting. All right, we're going to keep we'll keep following it. Let us know if something happens.
Will do, Bill. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks so much. Wow. I think she's absolutely right. I cannot believe they would go down this road with an attorney. And by the way, earlier, Jeremy Rosenthal, our weekly legal segment, said one of the things that you have to understand about advertising for attorneys is it's very regulated. It's regulated by the Bar Association. I believe it's the Bar Association. Or there are very many rules on what you can and cannot say in an ad if you're an attorney. Ethics rules.
Well, and he also brought up the point that there's a possibility that lens will swing around to who made the decision and why.
Yeah, he's saying that you'd have to be really paranoid to perceive this ad that way as offensive. Like paranoid that maybe there's something in somebody's closet that, yeah. All right, quick break. We'll talk to Ryan Nobles from NBC coming up at WIBX.
Jim Boeheim is going to be in our next Real Men Get Tested commercial.
Wow.
You know he's a cancer survivor.
He's all in.
I'm not appearing in your commercial for Real Men Get Tested.
It sounds like you two are bonding.
Yeah, especially after I gave him coaching advice.
We're not bonding. You know nothing about basketball.
I think there's a job offer coming.
I'll bet you sit next to McNamara.
Don't be stupid. Real men get tested for cancer. I'm living proof that early detection can save your life.
When my business was taking off, our old phone system just wasn't cutting it. We needed fewer missed calls, more flexibility, and better visibility into customer conversations. That's when I found OpenPhone.
OpenPhone is the all-in-one system for small businesses and growing teams. Manage multiple numbers from one device, work seamlessly as a team with shared numbers, and stay organized with AI-powered call transcripts, summaries, and next steps, so nothing gets missed and your team responds faster. OpenPhone integrates with tools you already use, like Slack, HubSpot, and Zapier, so everything's connected and efficient.
Having tried just about every relevant small business phone system, OpenPhone is truly in a league of its own. It's now essential to how we run our business, and I couldn't be happier with the value it brings.
See why over 60,000 businesses trust OpenPhone. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hi, I'm Lisa, owner of Fit Body Boot Camp in Clinton and Whitesboro. I couldn't be prouder of our amazing members. Take a listen.
My name is Savannah Malerba, and I'm from Westmoreland, New York. Results-wise, from my last set of measurements, I've lost about 15 pounds. I've lost about 17 inches between legs, waist, chest, all of the parts. I've also gained a lot of energy in my daily life. I'm a school teacher. I teach K-6 math intervention full-time, and I go from the beginning of my day at 5:15 in the morning all the way to 3 o'clock at the last bell and still have enough to keep going and jumping around my classroom like crazy all the time. So this has helped increase my mental endurance in every single way. I feel like I handle a lot of challenges in the gym and outside of the gym, and I feel like I have the people around me and also the mental capacity to support all of those things at the same time. And that has developed a lot more because of Clinton Fit Body.
If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. The time is now to live your best life at Fit Body Boot Camp.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186. Or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, listen, just a couple of minutes ago, I was speaking to the New York State, the president of the New York State, executive director of the New York State Parent Teachers Association regarding the cell phone ban. And I just have to make a slight correction, Beth, because I'm being yelled at right now. My wife, I use the Dojo app on the smart board and computer. I do not use it on my cell phone. I cannot believe you now have told everyone that I'm on my cell phone all day long. Nice job.
I don't know if I can save you from that, Bill.
I don't know either. Ryan Nobles knows her. There's no saving me, Ryan.
There isn't, but I mean, in her defense, aren't we all on our cell phones all day long?
Yeah,
isn't on their cell phones all day long.
Yeah, people. I actually, Ryan, I have a bad connection on you. We're phasing in and out. I don't know if that's me or if it's you. God knows, because nothing has worked today properly. So
I hear you okay. Am I still not? You can't hear me?
yeah, I'm getting a phase out of you. Why don't we hang up and reconnect right away and see what happens? Okay, thanks, Ryan Nobles, and let's try that again. All morning, our phone lines have been down, and we've had some. And it's a region or Northeast thing. There are a lot of different cities and companies that are down today. So we're being told. All right, Ryan, good morning.
Is this any better?
Oh,
It is better. Yeah, it's good. It's better.
Right, good.
Yeah.
Great.
So, as you know, there's no getting out of this with me when it comes to my wife. I'm just going to have to live with it and suck it up.
Yep. And her defense, my wife's on the phone all the time too, and so am I on the phone. I'm literally talking to you on one phone and looking at my other phone in my hand. So
you're actually making it worse for me right now. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, listen. So let's start. We normally don't do this, but we'll start this way. Start with the New York Mets. What in the hell is going on?
I'm very worried that this could slip away. And I think both the Mets and the Yankees are in that position right now. They're both not in a good space. And it's not just that the Mets are playing poorly. It's that Philadelphia seemed to figure it out. And you've got the Marlins sneaking up from behind.
Yeah.
I think the best baseball of anybody since like June 1st. It reminds me a lot of the Mets last season. Last night was a good example. This new arm they brought in, the submarine pitcher there, he basically blew the game. And then the bats just have not come around in a way that you would expect them to at this point. So they've had these swoons, where they've lost 7 or 8 in a row, and then they come back and win 4 or 5 in a row. Yeah. But it seems as though the losing swoons are lasting longer than the winning swoons at this point. So that's, I think, what has me most concerned. So we'll see.
I want to start out on the gerrymandering Texas situation, the potential arrest of legislators there. What's your take? Where's this going?
Well, Bill, you and I have been doing this for a long time, and I think you know that I feel very strongly that gerrymandering is destroying American politics. I think that this is that trend on steroids. The idea, it was bad enough that every 10 years we were creating these awful districts that were just sending people to Congress who had no incentive to work with the other side of the aisle. Now we're doing it in the middle of an election cycle, in the middle of a census cycle. Is it going to get to the point now where we're just going to redistrict every 2 years to the point where whatever party is in power in whatever state can try and basically just send a whole gaggle of only one party to Washington? The whole point of the House of Representatives in particular was to send a diverse subset of Americans to Washington to try and find common ground and fix problems. And so, we are already increasingly having a problem in the Senate where we've just got a collection of red states and blue states. There's, I think, only 2 or 3 states left that have both a Republican and a Democratic senator. So it's just going to increase partisanship. It's just going to make things worse. If they redistrict in Texas, they're absolutely going to redistrict in New York and in California. So whatever the 5 Republican seats that may pop up in Texas, there'll probably be 8 that pop up in Texas and California. And you know what that means? It means that I think there's something like 42 congressional districts out of 435 that are truly competitive in general elections right now. That's going to shrink even further. And if that shrinks even further, that means that there's not going to be any more Sherry Bohlerts or Richard Hannas that are sent to Washington. It's going to be only hard right and hard left people. It's going to be AOC, and we're going to have a whole Congress made up of AOCs and Marjorie Taylor Greenes. And not that they don't serve a certain subset of the American public, but they certainly are not representative of the country as a whole. It's going to be a lot of just pounding our heads against the wall, government shutdowns, no consensus on big ticket items. And then the other thing that's going to happen is, because the margins are so tight now in the House of Representatives, every 2 years, these policies are just going to yoke back and forth. So if you're a business owner and you're not sure about how to plan for a long-term tax strategy, if you're somebody who wants to be a foreign exchange student, you're not 100% sure if your visa is going to work. Like, these are all things that could change every 2 years if we keep flipping the House back and forth between Republicans and Democrats with a margin of only 2 or 3 votes. It's just not the way that the founders intended. And yes, I don't think that the Texas Republicans are doing this out of good intentions. I think it's only a power grab to gain more Republican seats, but the Democrats have been doing it for a long time too. And this is a creation that both parties bear a responsibility on. And until somebody wakes up and realizes that this isn't a good thing.
Let's see. I want to bring Rob in. Rob is always piping in when you're on, and I do enjoy it. He says it's 47-9 Dems to Republicans in California. Texas needs to make that happen for them as well. and it will happen. Your response?
I mean, I think that the question here is you're comparing two bad situations and suggesting that these two bad situations are somehow comparative. And the other thing I'd argue too is that, I mean, you can use these statistics in any way, shape, or form. I mean, Texas, has a real possibility of a Democrat winning the Senate there. It's not impossible for a Democrat to win statewide in Texas. There are a lot of Democrats in Texas. There are more Democrats in the city of Houston than there are in some entire states. So the idea that Democrats shouldn't have some sort of representation in Washington out of Texas is ridiculous. It's no different than that there are a lot of Republicans in New York, right? When I talk to people all the time about being from New York, they assume I'm from New York City, and I'm like, no, where I grew up, it's all Republicans, and they want to be represented in New York. And so, there's pockets across the country where people may live in states that we've typecast as red states or blue states, but the whole point of the House of Representatives is to create legislative leaders that are as close to you as possible. And if you just create the system where only Republicans can win in one state and only Democrats can win in another state, you've completely defeated the purpose of a bicameral legislature. So,
and let's not forget in New York, the Democratic or the Republican delegation played a huge role in New York during the last election. So
that's they were and they play. I mean, some of the New York Republicans are some of the most powerful players in Washington right now because they come from blue states. They're the ones, they have a powerful voting bloc where they can steer legislation to the benefit of New Yorkers because they have representation from both parties. When I was a kid, New York had Alphonse D'Amato and Daniel Patrick Moynihan. They had two of the most powerful senators who represented both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. That made New York a powerful player in politics. Now New York's all Democratic-led, and you can use that same example. I mean, Texas used to have Democratic governors on a pretty regular basis. For Pete's sakes, Ronald Reagan was the governor of California, who is kind of the scion of the Republican Party. So this idea that we're just going to create only clones of certain types of Republican and Democratic politicians, and that's all we're ever going to produce, it means, A, nothing's ever going to get done, but it's also going to stifle ideas and creativity and the type of things that we need to make the country move forward. And again, I go back to this idea. The founding fathers wanted this to be a robust kind of conflictual legislature where you debated these ideas in the public square and then came to a consensus. And that's just not the Congress that we're creating as we continue to gerrymander like this.
Talking with Ryan Nobles from NBC. And Ryan, I want to go back to 2 weeks ago before we both went on vacation. And keep Rob in the picture. You had said something to the effect of it's going to be very interesting to see how Republicans react to this Epstein story because this thing is not going away. And Rob responded by saying Ryan just showed his partisanship. He's totally in with the Democrats. But in reality, look where we are now.
Well, I'd ask Rob if he knows the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, who just subpoenaed to get every single Epstein file from the Department of Justice, who asked to subpoena every attorney general from the last 4 presidential administrations to specifically ask them questions about the Epstein investigation, including President Bill Clinton and the Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. This idea that the Epstein this was, of course, 2 weeks ago when I said this, and then they sent Todd Blanche down to do 2 days worth of interviews with Ghislaine Maxwell. The idea that this whole thing is going away and somehow that makes me a Democratic operative is just not paying attention to the facts as they exist. This is not, there's no doubt that the Democrats have piled on here, right? And we talked about that 2 weeks ago. But this is a Republican-generated story. It is Republicans that want this information out there. And the fact that Donald Trump has turned and tried to look the other way, Democrats have certainly seized on, but it's the Republicans. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think I said this 2 weeks ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene said that it was the #1 issue that folks were calling her office about. She's not a Republican or not a Democrat. So I'm not exactly sure where the idea that somehow I'm a Democratic operative for pointing out exactly what's happening.
Well, I got to tell you, I almost feel as if the story is getting worse. The more that is done to distract, the more that is done to I almost feel like the cover-up is worse than the crime. We're going down that road, it seems. Maybe we're not, but it feels that way.
The question I have, Bill, and this is there's a very significant collection of voters who the Epstein controversy was motivational for them. That was the reason that they got engaged in politics and one of the reasons that they became supporters of Donald Trump. And the question I have is, as this plays itself out and as the information is released, are you going to soberly look at the way this information is released and be satisfied with it? Now, do you think it's enough for President Trump's personal lawyer, Todd Blanche, who is now the Deputy Attorney General, to go into a room and ask questions of Ghislaine Maxwell all on his own without anybody else there? Now, they say they're going to release the transcript. Can you trust that it's going to be the entire transcript? Are you sure that she's going to answer everything appropriately? Can you trust that the questions that she answers are honest? The House Speaker, Mike Johnson himself, said, can we trust Ghislaine Maxwell? Are we going to be given a complete satisfactory answer as to whether or not she's been given some sort of deal to answer questions in a certain way? We already see that she's been moved from a maximum security prison to a more minimum security prison, which is something that never happens for sex offenders. My point here is there's a possibility here where the Trump administration is going to flood the zone with a lot of information, or at least what is to be the appearance of information. And the sum total of that is going to be that Donald Trump had no role in all of this. Now, there's a very good chance that he may not have had any role in all of this, that he had no criminal relationship or even inappropriate relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We certainly know he had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. That's objectively true. So the question is, was it criminal or inappropriate? And the problem that we're developing here, and it's not just with the Epstein saga, it also has to do with the firing of the director of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics.
Yep.
It's the firing of the Fed chair. This idea that the information that we're getting out of the White House, can we trust it? And there's a chance that they'll throw a bunch of information out there that looks like it's a lot. And the sum total of it is going to be Donald Trump did nothing wrong. And then are all of the supporters going to be satisfied with it? Or are they going to take an actual critical look at the way that this information was collected? Is there going to be any sort of independent review of all of it? And then at the end of this, how do people feel? I think that's the big question. And it may take 6 months before we get that answer.
By the way, 6 months is right in the middle of the heated part of the midterm campaigning. So this is not going anywhere, it seems. All right, interesting stuff, Ryan, as always. Thank you for participating, and we'll do it again next week.
All right, great, guys. Great to be back on with you. Have a good one.
All right, thanks so much. Ryan Nobles, go Mets, go Bills. We agree on those two right there. Davey, I'm sorry. It's been one of those days. You should be thankful that we made our way through it. And it's been a hell of a day. Hold on. I'm just going to stretch.
Welcome back.
Yeah, this was fun. I'm only hoping tomorrow won't be as much fun. I didn't get to everybody's comments. There's a whole bunch of that. So much stuff that I missed that I will get to tomorrow. We have a big day as well. Beth. Oneida City School superintendent is on tomorrow. That's going to be very interesting. Beth, I'm sorry. I was very distracted.
No worries.
Very distracted today.
No worries. I was watching the master work.
We really, really, really appreciate you coming in on Wednesdays. So thank you.
I have a good time. So
gotta go. Expect some thunderstorms later today. Full forecast coming up next, top of the hour.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
President Trump thinks the FBI might have to get involved. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, getting Democratic lawmakers who left Texas back to the state.
You can't just sit it out. You have to go back. You have to fight it out. That's what elections are all about.
As Republican Governor Greg Abbott files a lawsuit trying to remove the state House Democratic leader from office, Democrats have dug in, blocking a congressional redistricting vote in Texas that could give Republicans 5 more House seats in the 2026 elections.
I will liken this to the Holocaust. People are like, well, how did the Holocaust happen? How was somebody in a position to kill all them people? Well, good people remain silent.
But soon after telling that to the Don Lemon podcast, State Rep. Jolanda Jones regretted it.
Jones told Fox